Defining Duke is brought to you by Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/Duke. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/Duke. Just go to Indeed.com/Duke and support the show by saying you heard about it here on this podcast. Indeed.com/Duke. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today, and welcome to episode 133 of Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. Today, I am joined by the deadline extender himself, Lord Cognito. It's not over yet.
Lord extension for more, a couple more months, we got the game got delayed.
Well, we were talking about, take your time. We're team delay. We didn't mean it like this.
We didn't mean it like this. Yeah, we got to still talk about this till certain. We'll get into it. But I'm doing good, man. A lot of stuff going on in my life, moving and shaking, busy stuff.
Let's hear about it.
Meetings.
How are we doing?
ILP's doing well,
Yes,
so things happening, and I'm really proud of the team, man, because recently we just had Gary on, and he came on from IGN, broke some interesting news we'll talk about on this show too, about acquisitions, which was interesting, but it was just a fun show. It was a fun show. Obviously, King is gonna be King. This is his moment.
I watched the part. It was amazing. It was amazing. Everyone needs to go check it out.
Please check it out when you can. But no, just in general, as far as my brothers and in our journey and as podcasting, and it's good to see things are starting to happen for us. And I'm just proud. I'm proud of the work finally paying off. We get to see a little bit. So some things are cooking. I don't want to divulge everything just yet until I'm like you. I don't want to talk until things are solidified and final.
Y'all thought COG was so different for me for so long. You're about to learn. He's going to start playing my game now.
I'm learning. What's been going on with you, man? You got a new house, and I love the backgrounds. You got Raph up in there. I don't see Mikey, though. Where's Mikey? I don't know what's going on.
Mikey is on the far wall over there. Yeah, okay. I got to fix so pretty much when I came in here, they had a bunch of nails hanging on the wall. I was like, all right, let me just get some stuff up. Just make this feel more lively. So for our audio listeners, actually, I want to do a Patreon write-in real quick.
Yes, let's do that.
And then we'll get into the whole spiel on what's going on with me.
Yeah.
Adam Nix writes in, "Hey Dukes, I just wanted to write in and congratulate Maddie on the home purchase. It's most definitely one of the biggest holy shit I'm an adult now moments you'll have in life. Enjoy having a place of your own that's actually yours, and have now I see why Dad was always fixing the house on his spare time kind of day." Adam, this is a beautiful write-in. So for those who are audio listeners and do not know, you'll see a different set behind me right now, temporary in the terms of color and backdrop and whatnot. But yeah, I'm in a new house now. We're finally starting to settle down. My parents were just here again, and they're really been helping a lot with making this place feel like home. I'm gonna get a little emotional. I'm gonna get a little, I call it Mr. Daddy Place when I go from we're here for games, but I feel like if I'm gonna add purpose to what I do, I gotta give advice as I experience these life moments and just speak honestly and intimately with the audience, because I feel like that's where true value lies as a commentator. It's not just about did I get the scoop right? It's just being good people and kind of walking through life together. So this is first time I've been out of the house like this ever. I said last week, I didn't go away to college. I didn't want to spend money on school. I went to community college and I didn't do any types of programs or anything. I've always lived at home with my parents. I had my studio space where I spent a lot of my time, but it wasn't like that was an apartment I lived in. I'd always end up coming home. And so, man, the move out process was pretty emotional. I won't lie. Yes. When you grow up, I'm very blessed. It's been a lot of reflection for me these last few days. When you grow up in the same house for 20 years, like I did, I'm 28 now. We moved into this house when I was 8, and you spend for me, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, biggest moments of your career, meeting your now fiance. And this is the sanctuary you always return to when the day was done.
Facts.
Your bedroom. It was, I bawled my eyes out when it was all empty. It was tough. It was really, once it was really empty, and, you know, I had to let it out. It was just really tough seeing it completely stripped down like that and empty. Like it echoed in there, and moving in here where there were boxes everywhere and no sense of familiarity, new state, new home, new everything, no friends nearby, you know, but part of it's me being dramatic. I got to call myself out. You know, my family's 50 minutes away, but for me, it was such a shakeup.
Yes.
And, you know, cried it out a lot, talked with Laylee a lot about it, but what's come out of it is a lot of deep appreciation for the life I've been able to live.
Dope.
You know, I really reflected hard on, if this is one of the toughest things I've had to go through, I have lived a goddamn good life. You know what I'm saying? And recognizing that privilege, recognizing how much I love my family, my friends, spending that time with them, and really, as Adam put it beautifully, that holy shit, I'm an adult moment. You have that, it's that first night for the gentlemen out there who are taken and living with your significant other. For me, it was that moment of like, oh, dad's not around the corner. Like, if shit pops off, it's me. I'm man of the house, if you will, right?
Yeah.
And not to insult my fiance's independence. She can handle herself. But point being is, it is that awakening moment of that first night. You're like, whoa, this is it. It becomes real extremely fast. You know, you think you're prepared. And many people handle it well. I think because I had the benefit of having an amazing relationship with my family and friends, and growing up in a very cozy small town. Everyone was always 5 minutes from me, max. And that's not an exaggeration. My best friend lived 10 steps from me my whole life. My other best friend lived up a hill from me my whole life. That's been my life. So for me to be 50 minutes away, dramatic, yes, but a huge change for me.
Of course.
But these last couple of days, you know, we've really focused on putting things together. The office is you know, mostly together. A lot of boxes cleared out, and it's gradually becoming home. And it's been a kind of, it's not there yet, but it's been a nice process to reflect and feel that independence. And you know, you think you're mature, you think you're an adult, but then when you get your own house, you realize the changes you got to make. And so it's kind of been a humbling process. Like, it's been really, again, emotional, but kind of like gratifying. It's like, you know, you just, at first the house feels kind of empty, but then as everything finds a home and there's more life in it. We're getting a puppy this weekend that I'm really excited about. Yeah, because you know, I need a companion. That the last thing I'll say, because I don't want to go on too long here. The toughest part was I had to leave behind my dog Revan.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
He is, for those who don't know, my best friend. This was my dog. My mom has a really strong relationship with him. And so it was one of those things where I'd rather feel the pain than her. So I left him behind, and that was where I said to my mom, I was like, I feel bad. I said, I'm crying over you guys, but it's the dog, man. I was like,
Revan.
Yeah. So that's been the toughest part.
Quick question. Did you notice any animal reaction from Revan?
He shit in my room when I left. Yeah, he was pissed. He was definitely pissed I left. And so,
what's this barren room you're leaving?
Yeah, I know. He was not pleased with me, but the fact that I can talk about, I get emotional thinking about it, but the fact that I can talk about it without breaking down into tears, which was what was happening. Like, I have a picture of Revan and Duke on my dresser, and like when I was unboxing games and I left that in there, I was like, it's like, God damn it, man, why? Damn it. But yeah, I love that dog with all my heart. And yeah, I definitely need an animal companion. Like, that's the type of dude I am. And so we're adopting a rat terrier chihuahua. So cute. So cute. Adorable. We're gonna name him Rufus. Shout out to my Trails fans who know. Shout out to my Trails fans who know. We don't name any animal in this house after any normal thing. It's got to be a fictional character, a peak fiction character, mind you. Rufus Alborea, for those who are curious, but I digress. Rufus will be in this house next Duke. And so, yeah, I don't want to eat up too much time, but it's been a lot. And I just wanted to pass that on to the audience, a bit of how I'm feeling, and just of course thank everyone because let's talk real. Without anyone's support across my various things, I couldn't afford the house I live in. It's not like I'm here in a mansion, but it's a nice house. I'm very proud of the house that we were able to afford and start our life truly in. And being able to adopt a dog and stuff. Just thank you to everyone who's supported me along the way. It's been very humbling, and a lot of people excited for the move. A lot of people were really getting my back during this, and I just wanted to shout out the LSM fam, my friends, family, everyone who's been checking in on me, seeing how I'm doing, congratulating me. You're all fantastic, and it's just been it's been a big deal for me. I don't want to sound again over dramatic, but it's been a huge deal for me, and just to have everyone behind me like that has been humbling, to say the least. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're super proud of you. Super proud of you. This is a huge deal, and to see you going through it, and what's impressive to me is how you're able to handle everything else still professionally and still keep on going with like major life change. Like that is major. Tough. Yeah, that is. So kudos to you for still, because I would have held the fort down for you if you needed, if your time away. And again, huge transition and respect. I totally respect what's going on, and it's the next chapter of your life, man. I remember those times. It's emotional. It's definitely emotional. That's all you've known from that point, right?
Exactly. So, your world gets infinitely bigger.
Yes,
when you get that house, and even if it's an apartment, anything like that. Like when I got my studio space, it was like, wow, I have to take care of this. Your world gets bigger with property. It's and this is the big leap you make, and it's a commitment. Like for me, I love New York. To move out of state was a huge deal for me. And it was like, this is kind of scary. It's like, this is not the small town I know and love. So it's, you find ways to love the new place, of course, and challenge yourself. But it's been a good lesson in barrier breaking, knocking down those walls and embracing something different and seeing how you can persevere. Because in those emotional moments, you feel like anguish, like this will never go away. And it's amazing what a night's sleep in 24 hours can do. That's my best advice. Anyone struggling out there, and I don't mean to turn this into a mental health seminar, but if you are struggling, night's sleep, 24-hour wait, see how you feel. Sometimes that's all you need. And it's a huge difference maker. So
congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And with that, let's begin our show. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Defining Duke. It's actually an Xbox podcast, if you didn't know. And we are available on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You can look up Defining Duke on any of these platforms. You'll find us. We're available for free on Sundays on these platforms. Otherwise, you can go to patreon.com/lastdaymedia. And we go live on Thursdays. We just dropped an episode of Defining Duke Ultimate. It was episode 115. And it was the handheld gaming renaissance featuring our good friend, Jimmy Champagne, a.k.a. Deck Ready. We have a write-in about it later on in the show, but a lot of love for this episode from the patrons, which made me really pleased because, again, DDU is really tough to navigate. And so I get really happy when I see we nailed one. Like we had a great one. So I thought that was a great episode. That's available right now. Just want to give some love to the audience. We're going to go through some of the free reviews, patron write-ins, and then we'll talk gaming news. So first one here is from Phoenix Riot. I've listened to this podcast from the very start, first with ACG and now with Lord Cognito. Both have been great, and keeping it all together is the glue that is Mr. Matty Plays. That's crazy. Love all the insight and banter, a fantastic part of the Last Stand Media group, and the best Xbox podcast by far. Phoenix, we appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Spartan Sword, love that name. Up next, love the back and forth between Maddie and Cog, two of the best podcast hosts in the business. We love that. Thank you.
Salute.
Got two more here. Walter 719. This is the only show worth listening to on LSM. Started out listening to Sacred Symbols, but they've fallen off hard.
Wow. Slander?
Come
Slander
on
for
now.
the boys?
Come on now.
What's this?
Now I only listen to you guys. Keep up the great work. Well, we're happy to keep you subscribed.
Thank you for hanging on. Y'all go listen to the crossover though.
Yeah. Don't count those Sacred Symbol boys out yet.
Count the boys out, boy. That crossover we did coming soon. It's fire.
Absolutely. And the last one is Jake Nadeau, who writes, The Dukes put Microsoft to shame in the terms of consistency and quality. I've easily spent more time listening to these kings than I've spent playing my Series S. Their show is thoughtful, intelligent, and often hilarious and oozing with positive vibes. Salute to y'all. Keep up the excellent work. Thank you, Jake. Very kind of you. A lot of low-key slander. I think I'm starting to rub off on the audience, like the jab beneath the compliment, the double-edged sword with everything you say. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I peeped it.
All right, Cog. We got some Patreon write-ins here. Some for me, some for you. Wanted to go through them all. Meatball writes in, good day, Dukes. Want to take a second and show some appreciation for the S-tier game suggestions you two have been spitting out lately. Maddie, I've now seen the light that is the Legends of Heroes series. I'm having a blast playing through these games and haven't cared about a group of characters like this since, Cog, listen to this, the Mass Effect days.
Whoa, that's high praise.
Yes, listen to that.
High praise.
Shout out to our Lord Acquisition as well. I resisted as long as I could, but finally opened my heart to that Midnight Suns hype and have been pleasantly surprised with how fun the combat is. Without that double D stamp of approval, I never would have given either of these games a chance, so thank you. Lastly, a huge congrats on the jump in the podcast rankings in the US, at least recently. It's been a pleasure to see this show become more and more successful. Y'all have been putting in the work, and it's awesome to see it starting to pay off. Now we just need Microsoft higher-ups to put some respect on the name and respond to those interview requests. Thanks, as always, for being the best Xbox podcast on the internet. P.S. Maddie, a Rain Code spoiler cast with Hogue. The people demand it. We'll talk Rain Code later. Hogue did sell me on that. We will talk Rain Code.
Yeah, I was like, they became best friends right there.
That was
saw in your eyes. I was like, oh, there it is. I'll be forced to listen to this.
Yeah. I saw someone write in, I think it was in the comments, that you immediately got like flashbacks to Danganronpa, like, oh no.
I had trauma. I thought I was done. He's back again. No. But I just realized it makes sense. Hogue has those pockets like you where he loves stuff like that.
It's so surprising that a guy like Hogue likes this game. It's like, I love that he does, but it's so surprising.
He likes weird. He likes abstract. He likes his main stuff, but he's got those in the pocket games that people don't know about that he champions. So it was dope to see y'all connect on that. That was dope.
Speaking of rankings, I just want to thank you, everyone. We have 1,000 ratings on Defining Duke now. Thank you. That was one of the big things we were really pushing for. We encourage you to go to Spotify, leave 5 stars, or go to Apple, leave a review. We'll read it here on the show. We just thank you, everyone, for getting us to this point. Right now, it says in Great Britain, top 20, Cog.
Let's go, lads. Let's go.
And right now, 42 for video games. And this is on a Wednesday, by the way. Normally, it's higher on a Sunday because the show just dropped. So these are after numbers have settled. So I just thank you, everyone. This is your feedback, your write-ins, your ratings, your reviews. Make a difference. Please keep it up. We genuinely appreciate it.
Big time. That's huge.
All right, Cog. I love this question.
Let's go.
Don Otaku, your man, writes in. What up, Cog and Maddie? I have a quick question for Lord Beefy. Do you ever cuss? I understand on ILP there's no cussing, but on DD it's free reign, and I still haven't heard you go off the handle. I've heard Sav go buck wild at the LSM event, and King and Attic drop bombs on other podcasts every now and then. But for some reason, no matter where you are, we just don't get this from you. I just want you to go full potty mouth. Just this one episode, unless you have reasons for keeping it clean, in which I'll respect your wishes. Have a great fucking day, Dukes. So probably they're tired of me and my F-bombs. They want to hear it from you. So you've been through this before, I believe, but I'd love to catch up the new members of the audience. Why doesn't Cog spit that fire out of his mouth?
They want me to get loose with it. Shout out to Don. It's a good question. It's funny because technically he's right. Like there's no restriction here. So why am I? Again, let's just get a little background. So for me, my mom's is JW, right? So I grew up in a JW household. For any kid who grew up in a JW household, it ain't easy. Your mouth better be right. And there was no birthdays, no Christmas, none of that. So I, at a young age, always had all these restrictions. And then at a young age, I had to get up and talk to people in front of huge audience. I was in Yankee Stadium at like 13 in front of doing
Really?
public speaking from Bible scriptures. Like that was COG early before I went COG rebellious to the street. But you know what I'm saying? Because I stopped after a while. It's like, man, this ain't it. So and our relationship got bad. So, but anyway, I will say this. This is not slander against religion or the JWs, because I know I have a lot of ex-JW friends. I'm ex-JW. And what it is I will say the foundation of it made me a good person. I always tell her that. She always smiles. Well, at least I did something right. So that's what it is. It's my mouth is loose when you know when you get me most loose? Playing games. When I'm actually, if you're in a party chat with me, you'll see me get real loose with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm very, we call it ILP after dark. So when you in a party chat, I'll say some things and I'll say very innuendo things. I'm out of pocket on those. And so that's when if you're going to catch me there. On anyone that games with me.
Score with the boys is a dangerous time, ain't it?
Yeah. And trust me, like we're bad. Like we watch movies and games and put our own little innuendos in it. We have scenes that have entire separate meanings for us. So yeah, me, King, we're at Addict. They know that, you know, all the homies. But as far as here, like I guess I don't know. I guess keep trying to be the best representation of myself everywhere. But I did drop one. I think I did. Somebody called me out on it. There was an episode.
Oh, dude, the audience lit up in the comments. I think you said,
"Yeah, they were like, yo, God curse."
Yeah. They caught on it immediately. It was like deep in the show too. I was like, "Holy smokes, they got it!" Yeah, I think you said shit or something.
Yeah. So that, you know, it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But I think that's just what it is. Just like my programming, it's years of programming to be this person. So you got to blame Mama Cog for that. That's her fault.
Oh, Mama Cog,
yeah,
keeping you nice and straight. I think that's great though that you do that, because I think there's a time and a place for it, and I think it balances me out. I remember when we started the show, because me and Carrick are on like the maximum end of F-bombs and whatnot.
ACG mouth is loose.
Yes.
I love it.
Me, I think, but like
way worse.
We're pretty close in the terms of, I'd say, curse words. Carrick likes innuendos.
Yes.
But when we started off here on LSM, there was some real kickback. Like, why are you all cursing? And what's interesting is it's funny, like Dustin, Micah, Dagan, like they all have been on LSM podcast a ton. When they started punching up, some of the first comments were about cursing. And I'm just like,
really?
Like, how do y'all not expect this at this point?
But baby, because it's Nintendo.
Oh, stop.
You know,
Nintendo doesn't need a bunch of babies hosting a show. Drop an F-bomb or two.
No, they could do it, but I'm talking about maybe a Nintendo listener coming over is used to the, hey guys, you know what I'm saying? And they like, oh, yeah. What's this? Maybe
Nintendo After Dark is what the show should have been called. But yeah, I remember that those days where I tried a tip jar, which we would take donations. What a fucking dumb idea. Like, just taking, Carrick and I cursed and throw like a little coin in the tip jar. So bad. I should have just told LSM to kiss my butt and move on.
Good.
All right, Brian Cray is our last write-in. We'll get into news after this. Good day, Mr. Maddie and Lord Cog. I'm a huge fan of your show and love your content. You two are a special match not seen often in the industry. Thank you. Wanted to write in about something I have not heard brought up before on the show. I recently built a new gaming PC, and when I launched it up for the first time, I wanted to see what it could do. I was about to install Steam until I thought about Game Pass. Thought to myself, for only $14.99 a month, I get to try. It's funny. This reminds me of the Destin Legary tweet.
It sounds like someone paying him. They talk about this. It sounds like someone said, salute, Brian. It do sound like you reading off a paper, though. Salute to
you. Says, I thought to myself, for only $14.99 a month, I get to try a ton of games out on my new rig and see how it runs. So I quickly signed up for Game Pass and started downloading tons of games. I had a blast over the weekend trying titles left and right. Yeah, this really is like an ad read. As
a Microsoft exec. We see what you're doing, Microsoft. You're infiltrating Duke. I see what you're doing.
I didn't catch it. This is my fault. I also ended up liking Doom Eternal so much on the PC, I finished it. If you build a PC and want an instant collection of games to test Game Pass is the way to go. Just want to let others know my experience. I just got my Mayo Mini Plus in the mail, and I have to work all day and stare at it instead of playing some classic games kind of day. Thank you, Brian, for writing in. We apologize for the foolishness during your write-in.
Apologies. It was just too funny. We couldn't resist.
This is a good idea, though, because you could maybe get like a recent day one game and kind of give your rig a little benchmark, like, can I run this at ultra settings? I mean, can you run Exoprimal at ultra settings or whatever it would be in game? But this is a good idea. I just wanted to shout out Brian. I thought this was a novel write-in, so we appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely. I would just say, look, PC Game Pass, great deal. Just I'm going to be on them though. Please, for the love of God, fix your UI. Let me know what's in my game library. Stop having icons off the screen that I can't scroll back onto the screen. Just weird, especially if PC Game Pass is your highest growth potential right now. Please, fix that UI, y'all. Come on. We got to get it together.
What's crazy is I was trying to download games. My internet here, by the way, humble brag. I had it during the LSM or the defining consumer crossovers. Chris was very upset with me, but I had a humble brag about my internet, bro.
What was that?
This stuff is
that up and then down
God tier, and so I was trying to. It was like 900 up and down, like I've never seen this before. I downloaded. I got the 6 days of Fallujah beta. It downloaded in 2 minutes, bro. It was a 20 gigabyte game. 2 minutes.
It's beautiful. Tell me. Bro, no going back. There's no going back.
That's it. It's over, bro. I had Fios, and this is better.
Bro, that's one of my reasons with the struggle with me when I'm ready to go to get the house. I'm not going. What's the internet in the vicinity? Because shout out to Dr. E. Bontes, not to put your business out, because I remember when Bontes' house is beautiful. Him and Mrs. E. But I remember when he told me about that upload, I was like, oh no, he just now, he's been in that house for years. He just now finally got like fiber or something in the area, and he's about to switch. So he's doing good now, but he was suffering. And I'll never forget, it was a lesson to me. I'm like, I am never closing on a house until
you know that internet. Yep.
Facts. So I'd love to hear these stories.
I was like full dad mode. I had my arms folded in the front lawn, watching them connect the line to my house. I was like, yeah, there we go. That's it. I was rubbing my hands. I was like, good.
That's how you got to do it, man. That's part of the deal.
The Game Pass app on PC is awful. I was trying to fire it up to download stuff to just play and enjoy the fruits of my internet, and I couldn't download stuff. I'm like, really? Like, bro. I was trying to get Exoprimal. Because I was like, I have it on my other PC, which is not hooked up right now. I actually have my more beefy rig that was at my studio finally at home where I can use it to play more. And I was like, bro, this is fucking ridiculous. I can't install a game. So.
And I got to call them out. There's something, at least my experience, maybe, I don't know if it's regional, but you tell me if you have the same experience. Their download speeds on the store are throttled.
Yeah.
And I've exposed them because I got my the PC. I did a download for like the State of Decay update. We'll talk about it. And I'm getting like over, crazy high speeds. I did it on, on the ROG, and I was doing the connection. Bro, completely different. So it's PC Game Pass specifically that is throttling, because I know the difference, because when I do it on Steam, I'm seeing the correct speeds of how it should be downloading and uploading. But yeah, there's definitely a problem there. They got to fix that store.
It's unbelievable. They're like, this is where we want to grow. And the main thing they need, which is like downloading games, doesn't either work or download quick enough.
Agreed.
Unbelievable. I guess that's one way to promote xCloud gaming.
Yes. Yeah, so it's faster to just stream it.
Yeah, right? Why not just play it while it's downloading? Defining Duke is brought to you by Indeed. Look, have you ever tried to play Knights of the Old Republic with just a single blaster pistol, no rapid fire, and you're like, I'm not going to use any lightsabers, right? It's way more difficult than it has to be. That's basically what's happening when you're trying to hire for your own business without Indeed. So take a breath, take it easy, keep it simple. If you're hiring, you need Indeed. Here's why. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates, with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring platform that can help you do it all. With Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job, according to Indeed data in the US. One of the reasons I like Indeed is because I hear about it so much. I'm moving right now, as many of you know, and so I'm talking to moving companies, I'm talking to painters, and Chatty Matty likes to just get to know the businesses he's working with, and a lot of these companies have used Indeed to hire people for their businesses. So candidates you invite to apply are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to US data. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, does this sound great to you? Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/Duke. all for good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/Duke. Just go to Indeed.com/Duke and support the show by saying you heard about it here on this podcast. Indeed.com/Duke. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. All right, time for news. We got a lot this week. For starters, Xbox expected Starfield and Indiana Jones to sell over 10 million units each on PlayStation. But according to Microsoft CFO, Tim Stewart, in an excerpt from a publicly revealed FTC document, Xbox believes that Xbox Game Pass and console sales can make up for those lost sales over on PlayStation. So a little bit of insight on how they do, as they've said before, the case-by-case basis. This is our real first glimpse in an unofficial way at that. And I wanted to get your thoughts, Cog, on how you feel. But really, to me, what stands out is, like Starfield 10 plus million makes sense. Indiana Jones 10 plus on PlayStation. Look, I like Indy a lot, man. But I feel like after the movie, the hype's kind of low. 10 billion plus sales for just a multi-platform game is pretty phenomenal. And now we're talking just Xbox. Well, they're not talking about it just now, but they're saying they're going to make up with Game Pass and everything. So what do you make of some of these numbers and how they decided that Game Pass and console sales was the best route to go for these? So they likely anticipate these will be major surges for them.
Yeah, it is interesting to get the thought process. And actually, I didn't think about what you just said in reference to Indiana Jones. For whatever reason, I was just thinking only Starfield. But you're right. Indiana. True. We know what is the most anticipated.
The favorite child, yes.
Exactly. But I think that, Indiana Jones, that is baking a lot, assuming that it didn't go to to PlayStation. Assuming that it wasn't exclusive and then it went to PlayStation, that, they was thinking they was going to get 10 million for that. That's interesting. Maybe I don't know about the indie hardcore base and maybe I'm out the loop. So that is interesting. But to the original question, as far as, Tim Stewart believing, they'll make it up in Game Pass. And this is the point that I want to focus on because I'm seeing this a lot. And I think we had a little bit of talk of this on the crossover episode with Colin. And look, I get it. And I tell people short term, this is an investment, it's sunken costs. They're in the, growth and acquisition phase as far as the subscriber count is concerned of Game Pass. But I will say this. There are smarter people than me when it comes to finance, and they have to have a number or a target, subscriber base where I'm just making up the fictional 100 million Game Pass subscribers where this financially makes sense for them. Because here's the deal. I don't care what nobody say. Like, corporations are going to cooperate. If you want to say Microsoft's evil, fine. If you want to say Sony's evil, fine. Corporations are here to make money.
Correct.
No one's here for the good of your heart to give you this amazing Game Pass deal and then say, that's it, because we care about the gamers. Mm-hmm. No, they figured out a way. If they get an internal target, this will be extremely profitable for them. And that's the kind of why Phil has the reverence, right? Because he was able to go get Xbox to be at the table of actual Microsoft, which is, okay, we're taking Xbox and gaming seriously. But then to say, look, here's the hustle, right? Mm-hmm. Game Pass, get them off of just buying the games this way, make them subscribers. We'll get into the new subscriber stuff later, which there's some interesting ramifications about that. But to this point, they feel that they have that certain subscriber number. Oh, they're going to be caked out and they're going to get all this money back and some. So that's their plan. Whether or not they execute it is another thing. But that's the thing I'm trying to say to the people who there's a lot of fear mongering I'm seeing. Like, and I think a lot of it is based on, I don't like Xbox. I'm going to be honest. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to financial numbers and how people in finance try to break things down. That's all I got. It's up to them to hit the target. But what do you think with that?
The only thing, you mimicked my thoughts. So the only thing I'll add on to that really is that a lot of people are looking at it as like just Starfield or just Indiana Jones, but likely they make up these sales also by things surrounding it, right? There are also other games. Like September is going to be a huge month for Game Pass, right? We have Lies of P, Party Animals, couple others I'm forgetting, like it's Payday 3. It's like week after week after, it's some day after day after day. Like it's an insane month. So they're likely looking at all of these and saying this is going to sell Game Pass or consoles, and that's worth it. And I think it's smart, when you look at how behind they are in the console race, like they're doing well, as we've said before, for their own metrics in some ways, but they're getting smoked by PlayStation. And so it's pretty simple at face value, but just getting into the more minutia of why
Absolutely.
this decision was made, pretty interesting. So we'll see if Indiana Jones hits that 10 plus million player count, because I guess that's the metric we'll probably get now. But for now, I want to speak of player count here. I want to get into this one, Cog. I thought this was really cool. Call of Duty is seeing a resurgence thanks to Microsoft's update to the servers and back compat. Right now, Black Ops 2 sits at over 10,000 active players, while Modern Warfare 3 rests at 7,000 plus. As of this moment, various older Call of Duty titles I saw, like MW2, MW3, so on and so forth, sit as some of Xbox's best-selling games thanks to these updates bringing people back. I thought this was awesome, dude, because this is before the anticipated Game Pass drop, before the deal, before the hype. I've predicted, I think this number will triple. All these numbers will triple for at least a night when these drop into Game Pass and they have the servers update. You know they're planning something with that. The server update timing could not have gone in a better time than right now. So what do you make of this resurgence of old Call of Duty games?
Wow, I was definitely shocked with this. There better not be no bots involved. I'm just joking, but look, this is huge. You know, these are the Call of Duties for my era. This is when I loved Call of Duty. Yes, the golden age, man, and kill confirmed and all that. Oh man, it's taking me back.
I missed the third person TDM that they did in the original MW2. Yes. That one was so good, man.
Bro, so many modes, search and destroy. That was, man, let me tell you, the lobbies, they built men.
They did, bro. Game battles built warriors, bro. I did competitive gaming. Oh my God. You would, to hype your team up, say some out of pocket shit to the other team. Like, that's how you got your boys on board. Like, it's like, yo, I gotta wake the team up. I'm gonna say something.
Bro, rivalries were formed, man. Men were made. Yeah, that's how your skills got better. Because you're like, yo, I cannot lose to these dudes. So yeah.
Oh, true. It definitely made you want. I forgot that feeling that you want to play better because some dude pissed you off. And so you're like looking for his gamer tag over the NPC. And when you pop him, like, get the voice message in.
Bro, teabags was real. Teabagging was real. You know them days. And then the best is after the match is yeah. Bro, it'd be on. So it was a different time.
Better than being met with silence when you were talking your shit after the game. You're like, oh, you got nothing to say? You got nothing to say? And then they leave afterwards. Like, yeah, that's right. Let's go.
That's the era I come from.
I think that's where I built an ego in high school because I had no other reason to have an ego.
I'm from that era. But yeah, now this is dope to see. And last one, I'll expect, once it's finalized, as we get to the dates, I expect to see some form of that Xbox Wire Post back compat research or some feature to entice people to do this, to play those older games. And I'm curious, I'm assuming, do they have they all 60, right? So they don't really need FPS boost. But no. I'm just curious if they do anything on a technical level with Jason Ron on the team or add some feature. I'm just curious. There's probably nothing needed to be done, but I'm assuming some type of promotional, hey, all of these are here, and that kind of energy when the deal is finalized. But yeah, this is good stuff to see. People and shows you there is some knowledge of what's going on also by gamers, because this is such a big case that people are like, yo, it's going to be Xbox, and it behooves Xbox to be the face of Call of Duty. Throw that logo on everything, throw that box on everything, because look at this already. This deal's not even finalized. That's actually impressive.
I would wager that the first drop of Game Pass games from Activision will just be straight up Call of Duty. Just all the Call of Duty games that they can muster up. Just toss them in there and just make it, as you said, the face of that brand, and that'll help them out a lot. This one was a pretty big deal. Larry Erb, aka Xbox Live's Major Nelson, definitely a punchline probably everyone who's listened to this show has heard before, is leaving Xbox after 20 years with the company. Deathspank writes in, Dear Dukes, this week I'm taking a break from asking for a Lightfall spoiler cast. Note how I'm using your write-in now, by the way. Instead, let us take a moment to pay our respects to Major Nelson. Gamers today may not truly grasp how vital Larry Erb was to the console ecosystem. He helped shepherd Xbox Live, achievements, cloud saves, party chat, which are now the industry standard. Farewell, good sir, and may the next part of your journey be as impactful. Yeah, this is an absolute legend, not just in Xbox, but gaming. Yes. This guy has done so much for the brand. It's incredible. So, Cog, do you have any words to share on Larry Erb?
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Major. Man, so many memories. So many. I mean, I met him a dozen times, Some of the greatest Ferragamo shoes I've ever seen. Shout out to the man. The man's very well dressed, but he puts it together.
Yeah.
Puts it together professionally. And he was kind of like a, like a goofy grandpa of gaming at some point. He was goofy, but he was fun. But like he's been there, and I'm glad what Desmex said because I kind of alluded to this on the crossover, which was kind of like, people. I've noticed the trend right now is to act like Xbox has no creativity in gaming and Xbox has no influence. This man was there for all the things that I consider, really game changing, from Xbox Live's creation, being able to talk online, with your friends, to achievements, to party chat, all these things make the Xbox platform what it is. And he was there for that. Yeah, Cloud says, the 1 versus 100 days. I mean, you name it, he's been there. So,
and he was there during the dark times.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people jump ship, a lot of people in and out of the company. He was there through every era of Xbox we've ever known.
Facts. And the thing, he also, I think, at the Major Nelson podcast, obviously the Xbox podcast with him and Jeff Rubenstein. He's been a mainstay for the longest and the face for a lot of their shows when they were trying to get stuff going. So, yeah, salute to the legend. The Lord's got a chance to take a picture with him. Jeff, I love you. I think it was Boston, the last PAX East. It was kind of like a barcade kind of an energy Xbox event. We went there just to show some love and then play some games and then bounce out. But he was there, and it was dope to see him, man. So salute to him on his journey with it. I think he's got something going. He's not retired completely. He's doing something else.
Taking the summer off and then doing something else.
We're going to see where he pop up at. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, kudos to the Major. What a career. Tremendous, icon in gaming, and wish him the best.
Absolutely. It looks like Arkane Austin might be returning to its roots following the reception of Redfall if a job listing is worth anything to you. If you are looking for jobs within ZeniMax's website under Arkane Austin, you will find a lead technical engineer role, which is seeking candidates which have, quote, familiarity with single-player action RPGs and immersive sims, end quote. Y'all, we are so fucking back.
Woo! I wanted to hear it. I wanted to know how I feel about this.
Okay, so I have to be that guy.
All right, let's do it.
Here's the problem. Okay. Most of the talent is gone. 75% of the talent, according to Jason Schreier, even if the number by that is slashed, they lost a major amount of talent because of Redfall. So now they're going to try to rehire everyone for that next project or hire new talent. So the winds of change are still breezing through Arkane Austin. That doesn't mean that, this game's not going to be great, because you still have a man that I believe in at the top in Harvey Smith. And I think Arkane Austin deserves this. I know a lot of people will scoff at that because Redfall was what Redfall was. I totally get it. But this guy brought us Deus Ex. He brought us Dishonored. He brought us immersive sim masterpieces. He is no joke, while people may have treated him like one during Redfall's launch. This guy knows what he's doing, and I think he's owed a true chance with Xbox money. And based off Xbox's blatant admittance of not supporting Redfall, which when you get the product you get, but based off their complete lack of support, they owe him and that team a fair shot. They deserve a chance, just like we've said with every other studio we have spoken about across the Xbox family. Even like we talked about Compulsion Games, who launched like Contrast and We Happy Few. We said they deserve a shot. We said everyone deserves a chance with this new regime to show what you've got. And I don't think because Redfall was that bad that they should not get a chance to make the type of game they're familiar with that we love, might I add. So I don't know if that's going to be Prey again or whatever. It doesn't guarantee it's going to be good, but they deserve a shot. And I hope they get the talent necessary. I don't know if it'll be difficult for them to recruit, given that, according to Schreier's report from Bloomberg, originally people are showing up like, oh, I want to work on Dishonored or Prey or things like that. And they're like, multiplayer. And people started to leave. There was a mass exodus. So I just pray to God that they get the level designers back, man. That was my biggest issue with Redfall, beyond the bugs, was just that level design was so bad compared to anything they've made. It was way too cookie cutter, way too simple. There was zero complexity, and it was frustrating, man. So I am pleased to see that it looks like they are making a single player game. Hopefully there's no changes along the way. Keep that in mind. Redfall had some changes along the way. It was supposed to be live service during that ugly era of Bethesda. They managed at least to make it a co-op game with single player functionality. This looks like it should just be predominantly single player. It's also possible the cross collaboration between Leon and Austin, but it's also possible this is to help with something like Deathloop 2 is what my guess is Leon's next game is.
Say it with your chest.
Deathloop 2?
I'm messing with you.
I'm actually kind of excited if they do Deathloop 2, strictly because this is where you get to build. Don't get it twisted. Deathloop 1, deep as a puddle. Don't get it twisted, y'all. Deep as a puddle. Deathloop 2 could be as deep as an ocean, though, because now all the tools have been built. So I'll be there day one no matter what, but I digress. That's what I have to say on Arkane Austin. COG, anything you'd like to chime in on?
Not much, man. You said most of my points. You're on fire with that segment. I agree. I think it's, look, call me the optimist. I'm really hype about this. I didn't know about this. I'm glad you added this to the notes. And this to me feels like the mea culpa that Xbox needs to do. Like, you weren't in there on time. Clearly, your attention was with another favorite child, that is Starfield. And there was one that was hoping to be canceled. It was like, please, Microsoft, come in here and kill it. We don't want this, right? So, look, like you said, Harvey got a chance to interview him. The man is brilliant. He deserves a second chance. We need to see what Arkane Austin can do under the Xbox fully funded regime era now.
Yes.
So this is the mea culpa. And like we said, any other circumstances, the game gets canceled and most likely the studio goes away. This is where the acquisition part helps, right? Because now you get a chance. You get a chance to redeem yourself. So this is what I'm hoping for. I'm pulling for them. I love to see that they're doing single player action RPG immersive sim. Yeah. That's what we know you for. Do that, because when I played Deathloop, I had to bend the knee to Maddie. I said, what the hell was they doing? I mean, when I played, not Deathloop, Dishonored. When I played Dishonored, and you said, yeah, Freudian slip. When I played Dishonored definitely blows Deathloop away. I'm not even, that's just my opinion. Like, that's the games I like. And I know that they made that. Oh, y'all got to go back to that. That's what it is for y'all. So, yeah, salute. Hopefully this gets the ball rolling on the next project.
Absolutely. Next up, again, they've done it. I don't know what's happening with State of Decay 3 at this point, because State of Decay 2 gets another update called the Curveball Update. It's out right now. It will feature, quote, new events that will contain modifiers which can happen at random or appear as a response to something you've done, end quote. Now, COG, you were apparently, we chat all the time, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, so I usually update COG when I'm up to, as we're preparing for the show, and I'm just like, hey, man, I'm just going to sneak some food. He's like, you're downloading a little something. So did this catch your interest by chance?
Yeah, there's two things I was downloading before, when I can't talk about, which I'll be able to talk about next week. And the other one.
Oh, you really are sounding like me this episode. What's going on?
Because I'm so excited. I don't want to jinx it yet, but I'm so excited about the first one. But the second one, it was this. And curveball, man. Look, there's a part of me, I'm torn. There's a part of me that loves this update because it fundamentally changes a lot of how the game is played. From the plague hearts, the zombies, the actual global map, the local map, everything is really changed. And then what I like is some is objective based. And if you don't handle it based on these changing conditions, it can now morph into something else. And this even includes other survivors. And I'll give you some, this is the reason why it excites me. And he won't be. The level of time has passed. He won't be mad if I say this. The original members of the State of Decay team from Undead Labs that were there, I was told there were other modes that they had planned. They had stuff. Remember when like Negan came out in The Walking Dead and he was murdering everybody? They had modes where they were going to be like rival factions, human factions, and come through on some, Walking Dead, Negan crew type stuff. They had grandiose ideas that were on the cutting floor. So to me, these are still small remnants of that with the curveball update. But the flip side, to your point, is damn, we still getting more State of Decay too. which to me means you are further away. So you still try to extend the life of this. And we're going to talk about, the new Xbox Live. You notice what game was part of that core?
Mm-hmm.
State of Decay.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, you trying to boost this player count up and get people trying to play this.
All costs.
Yes, because you're not ready for 3 yet. That's what this tells me. 3 is still a ways away. It is a shame because I love State of Decay. I just want 3 so bad.
Same. But
I'm going to play State of Decay 2. And the last thing I want to say, and I want to commend them because I love that team. Thank you, State of Decay, for having an offline mode.
They get it at Undead Labs, don't they?
Thank you for having an offline single player mode, because now I slap that bad. That's what I was doing. I slapped this bad boy on. So now I continue my progress when I'm on my ally. And that's what I just want more games to do when they're doing this type of stuff. So yeah, salute to them. Just don't know when we're going to get 3 though.
Yeah, it's going to be a while, but
yeah,
kudos to them for that continued support. They're a very special studio in that regard. Like, they have a very unlikely service game here that continues to get infinite amounts of support. And if you're like me and kind of like a fair weather player of the sequel, every time you come back in, it's like a totally different game. I haven't played it in years, and if I hopped in now,
bro,
totally
Juggernaut
different
edition, curveball edition,
new maps,
like there's a lot.
It's very impressive. I got to go back. Maybe I'll add that to the list. With my new internet, I can just download it right away, but not through the Game Pass app. Forza Horizon 5's Summer Party update is available right now, including new vehicles, a new Horizon story called Icons of Speed with 8 playable missions, an updated stadium layout with summer-style ramps and smashable props, and a longer nighttime cycle that was added based off community feedback. So, continuing to update the 30-plus million player Forza Horizon 5. This kind of sounds fun. The stadium layout kind of caught my eye a little bit here when I saw that. I was like, ooh, it sounds fun. Smashable props. I love that. So, yeah, they continue to just plug away at this one. And I love what they've done with this game. Continuing to have seasonal updates, the fun ones like Hot Wheels, but then things like this. They've done a great job of supporting it since its launch.
Yeah. I still play Forza Horizon 5. That's actually one of my favorite portable games. If you want to showcase the Ally, oh my God, that game
probably looks so good on a shrunken down screen.
Spectacular on this screen. It is the most next generation looking thing I've ever seen. You want to impress somebody, show them Forza Horizon 5. Yeah, and I get a quick couple of races in, boom, and I'm good. So yeah, and I figured out you can play offline in that mode.
Oh, really?
Yes. So what the trick is, I was having that.
I think I remember you saying this. Yeah, go ahead.
You gotta load the game normally when you have it online, right? Just to do it. But then there's like Forza Vista mode, and then there's the one where you turn off the drivatars and all that other stuff. Once you do that and it saves to your profile, the next time you go online, you can go offline and the game boots up fine.
I love that.
That's how you do it. It's just an extra step for Forza Horizon 5.
It's good that they offer it.
Yes.
One thing you won't be doing online or offline though in motorsport is drag racing and drift events, as Forza Motorsport will not have drag or drift events at launch, as confirmed by the game's creative director. They will arrive after the game's launch. Dylan writes in, and call me crazy. Let's do a vibe check on this right in here.
Let's go.
If you're talking about the drag and drift modes not being in the game, Turn 10 stated that it was their decision. They're putting all that focus on this game being super clean and competitive. I wouldn't call that a basic element of motorsport.
A little defensive.
Yeah, well, a little defensive, a little slanderous, maybe, Dylan.
A little slanderous.
Yeah, we weren't going to blame Microsoft for this, but this sounds like a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Based off that immediate
reaction
up, right?
Right.
I thought Dylan was great for this topic here, so thank you, Dylan, for writing in. For me, I'm just very excited about this career mode, though. That's the thing I've very much been looking forward to tinkering with when it comes to Forza Motorsport. But for me, I don't know any better. So this is like no skin off my nose. But for the hardcore racing fan, I got to say, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. It's all about the race variations. And, I get that they're going to do post-launch support, and I don't think this will be a massive deal. If they're going to go at the pace that we're seeing with Horizon, you're going to be well taken care of continuously for years. But there are some people I've noticed as I'm trying my best, ladies and gentlemen, to sink into like Gran Turismo content and Forza Motorsport content and just listen to what YouTubers are saying. I watch racers online who play these games talking about it, and there's a little bit of like little bit of a battle here between these two. And
the GT dudes and the motorsports dudes is going. Is okay.
It's there's some, and there's of course the line walkers. You're Maddies. I like both. You know what? Why can't we enjoy both racing games? That type of dude. And so it's been interesting to see that, but in the racing division. And so there are people like Dylan, based on what he wrote here. I wouldn't call that a basic element of motorsport when it comes to competitive and clean, and that being their focus.
As if they are the most competitive and clean. Okay, I get it. I get it. Well, it is interesting. See, I wish I was part of that hardcore meta to understand. Like I was
we'll have
that
to bring
way.
Someone in for DDU.
We need someone that's objective that does that. Because for me, the only equivalent I would have would be like the hardcore simulation sports guy versus another hardcore simulation sports. Like I was the NBA 2K when NBA Live existed. There's no more. But then Madden with 2K
on PS2, bro.
Remember that. But anyway, so I'm the guy that knows those metas and what's more realistic sim-wise, stuff like that. But I would love to hear it from a hardcore, because I want to know. I come from Gran Turismo initially, getting licenses, and it used to be in the more sim thing. And I've played the motorsport games, and I love the motorsports games. But I would love to know the hardcore. What are they gravitating towards?
We shall find out with write-ins. If anyone has any suggestions for people we could contact for a DDU on Forza Motorsport around its launch, feel free to write in. Message me or write in down below, comments, whatever works. I see it all.
Yeah, we got to get the fries and the shakes.
Yeah, we do. Can't ignore the value meal.
Exactly.
Fable 4's narrative lead has exited Playground Games after 2 years with the company. She writes on her personal Twitter account. This is Anna McGill, by the way. Friends, I have news. In August, I'm stepping away from my role as narrative lead on Fable. I've had several wonderful years scribbling away in my fairy tale cottage, but the time feels right for new challenges. Working on Fable was a dream come true for me, and it's wrenching to leave it behind. But Playground has assembled a heroically talented team, so I know it's in good hands. I'm excited for what's coming next for them and for me. I'm taking some time off to rest from a wildly busy year. I wrote 2 books, y'all, but I'll be ready for a new project in October. Hit me up for a chat if you have anything fun going on. So shout out to Anna. Very much looking forward to what she's working on next. She was a part of Control, Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, and so on and so forth. So some pretty good games to have under your belt. But after 2 years, the narrative director, or lead, I should say, is out at Playground. Cog, I've seen a little bit of back and forth online. Does this spell any level of concern for you? With no release date now, based off that trailer we saw, which was gameplay, and the narrative lead's out. How's Cog feeling about this?
At first, I'm not gonna lie, concerned. I was just like, all right, yeah, she could have got another job, but damn, out so early. Is it a problem? Of course, those are my natural instincts, just to see what was going on. I got to give IGN some credit. I did a little research with it, and apparently people were hitting her up, like, yo, what's going on? So she said, some folks are being silly. So let me be clear. I reached a good stopping point to jump off the project, so I did. And I decided to take a small break before jumping into my next gig. That's it. I have nothing but fondness and respect for Playground and my colleagues there. So to me, this was our opportunity to take a shot or, say something, whatever, or not answer at all. Right? Let's be honest, she didn't have to answer. So I thought that was interesting.
Protective nature of it, yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that she's that protective to me then says, okay, no. Someone dropped a bag on some dream job and she's going. And she made it her business to keep defending it. Look, do I like the idea, overall of the narrative person leaving? No. But according to her, it's in good hands and there's no beef. So I'm going to trust her on this one only because she made the attempt for the second clarification. Normally, you don't have to do that. I'm out. They got on my nerves. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. But, hopefully the game doesn't suffer from it. A lot of people love that in the trailer, that character, the brother with the glasses. And
I forget his name.
I forget his name, but
or something like that.
Apparently he is huge. The fact that he was chosen and stuff like that, people are really going crazy. I'm very curious to where she left the project.
Oh God, I'm gonna butcher his last name. It's Ayoade.
Awodi? I don't know. But
AOD, I don't know.
Awodi. Apparently he is a huge deal in British pop culture,
Yeah.
European
British
pop
comedian.
culture. Yeah, so people went crazy when they say. For me, I didn't had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
So they love the fact, when he's in there. So we'll see. I'm just curious to see how it goes. But so far right now, I'm gonna pump the brakes on my initial fiery, doomy, gloomy, Xboxy, what they doing stuff. My instinct was that though, Matt. At first, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, "What's going on? What's up?"
Yeah.
But we're gonna see. We're gonna give him a shake on this one.
Yeah, I agree. I hope it's in a good spot narratively. So
Yes.
I still have lingering concerns, just given
Oh,
the
man, it's
timing.
concerned.
Like, I'm glad she protected it. I'm glad she thinks she left at the right time, but you're still the head of
Well,
the narrative and you're leaving
fair.
before the narrative sounds like it's done. Sounds like a good breaking off point. I don't know. Hopefully the main story is at least there, because to me, I just think you want to have the lead there as long as possible to massage and make sure it's cohesive and understand the original vision, because now the next person who fills that in is not going to have the same vision that maybe Anna had. So it's worth just thinking about, but I don't want to
Absolutely.
fearmonger either. But I just do have legitimate concerns
No,
about
good point.
that.
And at what point did she break? Like, what point of the
Yeah, we'll
story did
never
she
know.
break? Is key. Is that we'll never know. So that's the key as well.
This is a really interesting stat here. Xbox's 2023 showcase was its highest rated and most viewed show at 92 million viewers, which accumulated over the course of a single week. This marks a 38% rise in viewership compared to 2022. Now, no mention of Starfield's Direct here, and if that added to the numbers or not, or if those numbers are included here as part of the showcase. But massive leap here when you've got games. Ain't that a truth right there? I mean, Jesus. 2022 clearly did damage to Xbox, so there's no surprise that the viewership numbers would be down comparatively speaking. Because think about it, right? They were a month out and put the pin in the balloon on the two games people were most excited to learn about. So still 92 million viewers, pretty impressive number. Any thoughts on these?
Huge. It's a justification that, of the highly rated showcase we gave it, right? We said it was a great showcase, and this, to me, the viewership kind of is proving it. So the fact that they're willing to talk about it and stuff like that is always a good sign. And this was I've always said this showed the future is bright beyond the burger, the shake, and the fries. And we finally got to see what all these studios are doing and working on. And Starfield, I'm still going to stand on it. Whether or not, we'll see what happens when it releases. But from the showcase of a game, I have never seen anything better of a showcase of a game. They answered every question and the pressure was on and they exceeded expectation. So if they're combining that, because I know that Starfield got a lot of that viewership, you know what I'm saying? So if they're combining both of them, kudos, Microsoft, fantastic job. Yeah, future's bright. Now it's time to execute.
It is. Activision confirmed this year's Call of Duty Modern Warfare will be a continuation of last year's game. This was confirmed via a Twitter poll where they revealed that MW2 weapons, operators, and bundles will carry over into the next game. Jason Schreier of Bloomberg reports that it originally was supposed to be a premium expansion for the game before turning into a full game. So a little bit of a Assassin's Creed Mirage thing happening here for a new Modern Warfare game. Do we smell some trouble on the home front? Because I feel like that I remember my days from Call of Duty. Any sense of familiarity will creep in mighty quickly in the newest Call of Duties, right? Like you get your Black Ops and you're like, oh, it's so different for that first week. At least I remember in high school, like, oh, it's so different. And then it starts to become familiar once more. The same ways you're dying are kind of bullshit. The same three weapons are kind of OP, or types of weapons, I should say, because they vary across time periods. And now you're seeing content from the second game bleed into the third game, a little bit of carryover. So what do you make of this, COG? What do you make of this little carryover here from MW2 to 3?
I got a different perspective. I didn't even think about the meta and the game perspective. I was somewhere completely else. Like, you actually made a good point. Like, I'm very curious to see how the game actually evolves itself. I just don't play Modern Warfare no more, so it's just like, that it didn't. I wasn't thinking about that, but yeah, it is curious because I want to know how much of a significant change they've made, because it was originally supposed to be an expansion and now it's a full-fledged title. I think that's where my focus on, because I'm gonna make some predictions. I think, look, we know this deal is very important to Microsoft. We understand what the end game is in terms of ownership, and we understand what the end game is in terms of, the marketing deal as far as when PlayStation really, loses control. However, what the FTC documents have showed me is that Microsoft, when they want something to be exclusive or want them to have some type of control over it, they'll have no problem erasing your name off the box. They have no problem. Listen, when we saw the Indiana Jones, remember, even I was like, yo, multi-plat. We first heard the announcement. Yeah, that was probably done before Disney. And we saw Phil say, "Oh, we're going to make that for us." Oh, Starfield, no, we're going to make that for us. Redfall, we're going to make that for us. So, that dev kit you had over there, no, and it's going to be for us. So, not that they're going to pull Call of Duty away from PlayStation, but Maddie, I'm starting to get my feelings up that maybe, just maybe, because now we have a new timeline on completion of when deal is done with CMA, which we will get into, that at the conclusion of said deal, I would be surprised if it somehow found a way in the Game Pass. I'm just putting it out there. It's too many things to me now that are lining up. And especially now that this is going to be a standalone time. Because remember, we thought we wasn't going to get one this year, right? Now we decided to make this a game this year. Maybe I'm reaching. I know Microsoft will want it. Whether or not they can pull it off legally, I don't know what the red tape is behind that. I don't know what the legalese is behind that. I don't know. But they've shown me a couple of things that they could try to position. And I'm going to run with that. I'm going to run with that.
I like it. We'll see how that shapes up. But no doubt that they want that, of course.
Yes.
So if they can squeak that in, I think they will.
Yes.
Yukio Tsujino, the COO of Sega, stated in an interview with Famitsu that they are considering remakes and reboots for Sonic the Hedgehog as new titles for their flagship IP are developed. This, I'm surprised Sega hasn't really pulled the trigger on sooner. This feels like free money to them. There's no doubt that they're going to do Sonic Adventure remake at some point down the stretch here. They talked about after Sonic Frontiers wanting to do Sonic Adventure 3. Like the games director was like, yeah, we're finally going to maybe get to that Adventure 3, which is what everyone's been wondering about, because I've given this history lesson a million times before, so I'll keep it brief. But like Sonic the Hedgehog in 2006, the infamously bad one, was originally Sonic Adventure 3. And if you play Sonic P06, which is a single modder who's remade the game in Unity and makes it feel amazing, you can feel that this is Sonic Adventure 3. Like it is true, barring the story. It is, barring, hedgehogs, because you all like your game romance. So, hedgehogs kissing humans, all that stuff, beast on woman, that type of stuff. We don't co-sign that, Sega. We just talking about the gameplay. Yeah, we just talk about the gameplay here. It was Sonic Adventure 3. So I feel like they're eventually going to get to that. What better way to remind people of these great games that they've also ported multiple times than to bring them back? A Sonic Adventure remake, I think, is something that people have been looking for a long time. And with people remembering why we love the blue blur, or people like me who hated the blue blur and learned how to love them, now's the right time to strike. Sega hasn't really missed lately with their timing on Sonic, so I have no doubt that they are already pursuing this after Sonic Superstars drops later this year. COG, for you as the more OG Sonic fan, right? Where your mind was blown with the side scrolling.
Oh.
I got to know, what do you think of reboots and remakes for Sonic?
Long overdue, surprisingly, right? It took them long enough. I think they're finally like, they love us. they like they were so fearful. And I think it's just during the downtrodden days of Sega just, really rebuilding themselves, and they've come a long way. And to me, honestly, I think it starts with me, and I had this conversation. I think it starts with the movie. I think when the movie came out, remember they had the backlash at first, and then they redid the movie, and then people say, yes, this is the Sonic we want to see. And then from there, it's been uphill. And like you said, the adventures, all that stuff. Yeah, this is money they're just sitting on. It's time. Bring these bad boys out. Let's go. I completely saw this happening a long time ago. I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier, to be honest.
Yeah. With that, COG, we move into Payday 3, a day one Game Pass game. And it has been confirmed this will be an always online game. I feel like this is kind of forgivable given the structure of like Payday 2, for example. But with AI companions, maybe he could have made it work. But I'm not losing my mind over this. Are you, sir?
Nah, same thing. I mean, normally I'm team offline, but this is kind of tactical bank robbing sim with online player. Like, come on, like this is going to be online. I don't see that as a big deal. It reminds me of Siege. It's like I'm gonna ask for an offline mode in Siege competitive play kind of thing. But yeah, not too surprised.
I'm right there with you. We got a little bit of a leak here. Borderlands compilation Pandora's Box for PC and consoles was spotted by Gamatsu on the Film and Publication Board of South Africa. So it looks like this is one on the way, combining probably every single Borderlands game that's ever existed into one. And keep in mind that there isn't a next-gen SKU, if you will, for Borderlands 1, 2, any of that stuff. So Gearbox going to cash in while they work on God knows what next. I always wanted to talk about Borderlands with you because I feel like that's kind of a COG style game with the loot and the first person shooting and the classes and the builds. I'm starting to wonder if Gearbox is a company that kind of had a lightning in the bottle moment briefly and then lost themselves, because I didn't like Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I didn't like Borderlands 3. 1 and 2 are phenomenal, and I got to give some love to Battleborn. Battleborn, wow. I loved Overwatch, by the way. I put 500 hours in that game, but I hate what Overwatch and its community did to Battleborn. I will never heal from that because Battleborn was one of the most unique, fun MOBAs we've got. Now that genre is just dead outside of fucking League of Legends and Smite. You had something different there that was cool. It had the characterization of Gearbox, which they always do really well. The gunplay was so different and fun, and it's gone because people thought, oh, this is a competitor because it's got heroes to Overwatch. But anyway, COG, I'm asking you about Borderlands. What's your thoughts on the compilation, Pandora's Box compilation? What are your thoughts on the series in general?
Borderlands is the OG. We got to pay homage. I know I'm a Destiny fan, but this is the looter shooter, right? This was... Look, man, the wacky humor, it's just over the top, the art style, the cell shaded. I came into Borderlands late, and I'm so glad I did. I had the weirdest introduction. My first Borderlands game was Tales of the Borderlands, and then I went back to the Borderlands games. So yeah, they're excellent. But to your point, yeah, it's been a decline, right? At each subsequent effort, kind of. I was there when Randy Pitchford, was out there. I was live with him when he was out there pitching the game. This makes sense because there was no next gen version, so to speak. So I could see this as an easy cash grab. And I know it's interesting because I'm thinking more about Take-Two these days. I don't know, again, on ILP, Desolate Gary kind of broke some things on our show that kind of blew us away. And it was in reference to future acquisitions from Microsoft. And I don't know if that's as a topic on the show. I don't want to go too.
It is not. You can go ahead.
Okay, cool. So he is convinced, Maddie, that Take-Two is next on the docket. And we were like, me and Saul were like, what? Like you really want to set off the fire alarms now, huh? after ABK, and I'm Lord Acquisition. I was like, whoa, that sounds like a lot. So he's like, no, and she's going through the tea leaves. He was like, this person left, and now we see GTA 5 back on, whatever. And then me and King and Attic started talking. He's like, well, Strauss Zelnick seemed very cool with the team and telling how many some games. Like, hey, Phil, you guys got 30 million, right? Like, it was just interesting to me. And then again, this is long pie in the sky type stuff. And who knows if it's going to happen or not. But I keep forgetting how big 2K and Take-Two is. 2K is part of that.
Yeah.
Gearbox is part of that. Firaxis is part of that. So it is interesting.
That'll get Midnight Suns in Game Pass.
Bro! So then I started I said, the fanboy in me had to calm down. I said, wait, whoa.
XCOM 3.
XCOM 3. All my games can live again. So the bias literally jumped out my chest. I was like, calm down. But look, we'll see. I don't know. Just something to think about. I did want to bring this over to Duke because it was broken there and I didn't see anybody kind of talk about it. And now we're hearing Borderlands and that kind of stuff. We'll see. But yeah, I think this is an easy, back to the point, this is an easy cash grab, an easy low lift. Make that happen, next gen stuff, and then maybe prepare yourself for the eventual next Borderlands game after that. It's a good setup.
Agreed. Thought this was a really fascinating number here. I've never seen it before. Baldur's Gate 3's ending has 17,000 variations. This was confirmed by a developer. Fextra Life had posted about it in a video, and a developer said, "Oh no, they found the 17 number." So obviously these are mild permutations in some instances, but I don't know what kind of wizardry they're doing at Baldur's Gate 3. Like, I mean, at Larian, I don't know how or what, but like, this game was like a top seller on Steam already. People are excited for this thing, man. Like, there is some real tangible hype behind BG3, and it's because of numbers like this, bro. It's because of numbers like this. I just love that there's love for these role-playing games. And co-op goes a long way, man. I'm just saying, being able to play these games with your friends, take notes, everyone. You can have choice and consequence and multiplayer. It's very cool. Cog, any thoughts on 17,000 variations of the ending for Baldur's Gate 3? Will you see them all out?
Definitely not. But not that I'm hating on Baldur's Gate. Salute. Now, the game sounds phenomenal. Excited. I've never played. I'm going to play this. 17. Now I got to push back at the Baldur's Gate guys, because these are the same people who are like, and Maddie, you might be one of them. I'm concerned about 10,000 planets in Starfield. I'm concerned about, I don't know, Cog. The game might be in 17,000 variations of it. What are y'all doing in these endings? What are y'all doing?
Different hair color.
Exactly. What are you counting as a variation? The hair color, the hairstyle, who's in the party? Like, that's, I need to know. Mm-hmm. So to me, this is, not that it's a red flag, but it is like, what
a vapid
what
number.
Does that mean? Yeah. Like, I'm from the era of, all right, you may have 2 ending variations, and they're distinct based on winning, losing conditions and progression. Right. But there's a part of me that does feel developer speak. I'm going to be real. Mm-hmm. There's a part, 17,000. What is happening that is so different from each one of these? So again, call me a hater. I just need
even
to.
5 of them are very different, though. They've won.
Mm-hmm. True. But just say you got 5 distinct endings. 17.
That's fair.
17. Bro, anything could happen in this. Like, what? Like, so I don't want to hear the Starfield concerned guys talking about they like this. Mr. Matty, I don't want to hear you championing this, but coming after those parents going to be barren. What's going to happen on them? What's going to happen with the story?
What idiots.
It's all good. Listen, I'll pull it for the game. I am not, like, because of this, I am so interested. I have to know what is going on here. Salute to Baldur's Gate 3. Salute to my one of my editors, Sienna. He's a huge Nicholas Downey. That's the man, my man on that. He goes hard for Baldur's Gate. This is one of the games that got him into gaming. So I gotta play it. I gotta see what's going on. And no, I'm pulling for the game. Don't get me wrong. I just gotta laugh. I thought it was funny.
It's a very good point that you brought up there. Mm-hmm. How about a more humble number here? Planets in Star Wars Outlaws are similar in size to 2 Assassin's Creed Odyssey zones. I thought this was kind of nice. I mean, I love AC Odyssey. I know a lot of people don't, but
good.
Nice size zones. So double that for planets. Sounds good to me. Sounds bite-sized enough for a Ubisoft game. I'm looking forward to Star Wars Outlaws. I wonder if I'm going to be as excited after Starfield, where it's kind of low-key, like a amazing Star Wars game. Lord help me when the Star Wars mods drops. Lord fucking help me when those Star Wars mods hit, bro. But Star Wars Outlaws looks pretty good. So I'm excited for this one. Like I said, y'all, I warned y'all when the Hogwarts Legacy review dropped for me. I said, man, I'm not feeling this, but if they did this with Star Wars, my whole review would change. And beware of my bias. I love Star Wars. So
you did say that.
Does this number here, two Assassin's Creed zones per planet, spark any excitement for you?
Yeah, it's pretty substantial to me. You know, they usually are very dense, and yeah, I'm not no feeling either way. I'm pulling for that game though. Yeah. I am pulling. I like what I saw.
Last little one here. Banishers, Ghost of New Eden. This is from, I am blanking on the developer. They did Don't Nod. Thank you, Matthew. Don't Nod. It is releasing November 7th this year. Banishers, Ghost of New Eden. Game looks awesome, so you won't have to wait too much longer for it.
Remember this.
I definitely want to review this one. I'm definitely going to be picking up day one regardless, because Don't Nod, low key, really good RPG developer. I know a lot of people talk about Life is Strange with them, but Vampire, oh man, Vampire. Lord help y'all if that shit hits Game Pass. I mean, go buy it if you haven't played it, but if that hits Game Pass, I feel bad for this audience, man. You're not going to hear the end of it.
Uh-oh.
Not going to hear the end of it. Cog, any thoughts on Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden?
Yeah, I forgot the name of the title, what it was correlated to, but I now remember looking at it. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this game. No, that looked cool. That looked cool. I like the concept. So yeah, I got my eye on it. Definitely will be in the repertoire. So yeah, feeling it.
Excellent. With that, the news is done for a little bit. Let's talk about what games we're playing. We got a very different batch here. Cog, I'd love to hear from you first on these two you've been playing.
Yeah, man. Salute to my guys over at Mega Cat, man. I'm pulling for them. You know, I've been championing this game ever since I seen it, probably about 2 PAXs now. And every time I see it, it gets better and better. That's WrestleQuest. So they have a demo out right now. So anybody who's on the fence, again, this is the world of wrestling meets JRPG. And it's so cool, like just learning your move set, you know, your attacks. Then you have your gimmick button and whatever things that you do, the pin system. And it's just really RPG mechanics. The game does not take itself seriously at all. A lot of voice in the game considering, you know what I'm saying? You know, obviously you got a fake little macho man going on, running around and stuff like that. But I really, first of all, shout out to the animation and the art style. I think it really shines. It really gives you that SNES energy. And if you love wrestling and you love the fun of like cut the promo and then you know, well, you don't cut it, but you have the choices of what banter to say to get the crowd reaction. So good, yeah. If you're a wrestling hardcore like me and Maddie, like we come from that, and you like the science of the business, but now in JRPG form. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. So I'm pulling for them. I thought the demo was fantastic. I was laughing a lot of the time. And we'll see how, you know, if the rest of the game continues to have its meat. That to me is where I'm at. I just need to know if the longevity of this game is going to be there. But so far, I felt they got a great, unique concept and it's fun. And I'm pulling for those guys. So we'll see what happens if they execute. So that was that. And then Exo Primal.
Very excited to get your thoughts on this one.
Yeah. So I didn't know what. I was pulling for the game. I was like, okay, let's get into it. So shout out to, who was in there with me? Sinister, my boy Kaibatsu, Buddha. Oh, Flame from LordsOfGaming.net. We rocked out. So we booted it up. I think, you know, I went through the initial tutorial, that kind of stuff. First of all, let's just get this off the bat. This game, graphically.
When I played it, I'll talk about it later. When I played it, I thought of you right away. I was like, it's a looker. Cog's coming in hot.
This a looker.
Yeah.
And again, Cog likes lookers on the game, on the Xbox platform. You're going to learn. I like to visually be appeased, to see the power of the console I spent $500 on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would like to see that. So when I said, Capcom, what is it? What are you doing? Like, this looks phenomenal. So, of course, it's over the top ridiculous. It's a little bit of anthem images, a little bit of goofiness with this, you know, these makeshift kind of characters. Look, you're not playing this for the story. You know what this remind me of? This remind me of Titanfall 1 trying to force a story but they're doing a better job. Yeah, they're doing a way better job. Titanfall 1 it was like, you know, the UFC fight next or whatever it was. But this is actually doing a story, trying to do a story. So it's not taking it serious. There's forecasts of dinosaurs being showered down on planets. There's this evil AI or whatever. Let's get to the gameplay. I thought my only negative, though, at first, the game looks phenomenal. I just feel it a little floaty. They're a little loosey. Until you play, like, the big brute class. Like, you play him and you smacking up. I love that. You put your shield up, so you got your take cat character vector. What I thought was interesting is you're able to switch on the fly. To another suit. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So to me, Destiny fans, if you guys were playing Destiny, this kind of reminds me of Gambit. It's like PvE, VP in a way. So it's like PvE, who's doing better, you know, getting the zones, doing certain stuff. I fell in love with Zephyr. Zephyr was kind of like the melee class, very ninja-like, 2 swords, get up in there, spin, do all that. And then I like the look. So I was like, okay, cool. So far, so good. You know, I haven't got a chance to play mad matches yet, but from what I played, I felt fun. The key is going to be to support the modes and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I think the reviews are not doing that great right now, but
yeah, I found that kind of odd because it
yeah.
depicts like it's a Capcom miss, and it's
Yes.
far from that. It's a good game, I thought.
The thing it was, I had fun. I was having fun, and we were having fun playing. So that's maybe it's not a good single player game or something. So maybe that's why people are just jumping in and they're not really feeling that. Or if you don't like any type of PvP, but shout out to my man Mike Mullis on Twitter. He said you can turn off the PvP component completely.
Yeah, you can only do PvE if you want. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. So yeah, that's my initial thing.
And you can do random as well, so you can just kind of make it like, oh, I will never know, and that's what I did for a while.
My only nitpick is, I think my boy Kabatsu said there's a fix around it, is that being that there's so many mech types and suits, I just wish there was a proper tutorial. Like, I guess they start you off with one character, and then when you switch, I'm like, well, I don't know what any of these abilities do from any the other characters. So I just wish that, but he just said, just do the training mode over and select the other character, and that's how you get past that. So I'm like, all right, fine. So it's just a nitpick, but so far, so good.
I liked how quick the tutorial was, that it did not delay you getting into the action. I thought that was really nice.
I thought that was really cool. So I'm like an Exo Primal right now. I'm pulling and see what happens.
Okay.
So those was my plan.
We'll talk about it later.
What's been going on with you?
So I played a little bit more Midnight Suns, and I'm in Act 2 right now. Okay.
Taking your time.
Okay, I gotta give some props to the story. The Act 2 part of the story, because the first part is kind of just, I was very critical of the writing, and I think rightfully so. I don't think it's just too much. Like you think you're them, you think you're Marvel, you're not, but you're trying to be them, so it's worse than anything Marvel could have written. And I'm not even a Marvel hater. Look at my shirt. I'm dressed for the, like, come on. But the writing wasn't great. But Act 2, I don't want to spoil, so I'll try to put it as best as I can, spoiler-free terms. That's sort of like, yo, we're getting whooped right now. We need to get our shit together. And it's there that you start to see everything gel. It's a game that definitely takes its time. Like, it's almost you got to see Solomon's vision, right? All the way. And so I start, and because of that, you get the retroactive appreciation of like, oh, okay, it was kind of messy, almost by intent, so that when you get to Act 2 and you feel things starting to come together, it feels right narratively. And so, yeah, on a story front, I've been enjoying it more. Now, I didn't put many hours into it because with the move and everything, I had this dream in my head of like, yo, I'm going to have the Steam Deck, but bro, my back was killing me. So I was just like laying up on the couch and watching some TV and falling asleep early this week. I was a day walker this past week, man. I was getting up at like 9 a.m. I was like, what the hell? It's like,
I didn't even bother you this week. I was like, he moving.
Anyone could bother me at any time pretty much because no one's a bother. But point being, Midnight Suns has continued to be great. Hunter's still not my MC, still not, you go to the side. You do not get in battles unless I need you to.
He's funny though, man. You got to talk to him.
He's funny in the Abbey. That's the only sliver that he's allowed. Combat, you just get leveled up and off to the side. All
right, I will say this. You're correct. I know where you go, but I will say this. If you level him up, are you going so far? Are you more lightness or darkness? Light. You're more light right now. There's a couple of cards. I forgot. There's one that is like a parry card. I'm telling you right now, invest in this card, power that joint up to the level that you need to. That card single-handedly, I became the point where I was with you in the first 3 acts. Leave this fool home. Let's go. Let's go, Iron Man. Let's go. Yeah. I'm with you. He's getting in the way. There's going to be missions where they're going to be like, no, you got to take him. Right? So
yeah.
Advance the story. Okay. When you get certain cards, I ain't going to front. He became one of my favorite characters as the story went on. He is ridiculous, man. Trust me. You're going to want to, don't neglect him too much. Get your fun off. Yeah. But just if you get the parry card.
The highest level of the pack. I think that's how it has to be. But outside of that.
Yeah, for now. I know where you at. And just do this last thing when you can. I know you hate the Abbey. Get the words.
I have updated thoughts, but continue.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting. The last thing is just please get the words of power behind. Did you get the one behind your crypt where you were born?
So I did not because I was confused at how to find that. I'll be completely transparent. When I was
that's where I got stuck.
Yeah, I was walking around. And I noticed like when I hold RT that I only had one. And I'm like, where do I get the rest of these? And I was thinking like maybe the main quest will bring me to them, but you have to go out of your way. It's kind of like
Yeah,
the
bro,
crypt in Mortal
the
Kombat is
crypt
what it
in
reminds
Mortal
me.
Kombat.
Yeah.
I could not find no power. I'm like, what is going on? It's clear that I need these other powers to open up other sections of the Abbey. My I'm cursing, dumbass, did not go to the damn crypt where you are resurrected. There is where you get, I guess, the additional one, and then the Abbey started to open up. And bro, there's some spooky, cool lore with the Abbey and stuff that you got to do that made the Abbey actually fun. But that's what I only advise. I want you to experience that part in conjunction with your normal base building.
I'm all in, bro.
Bro.
I like the game a lot. I'm all in. I'm not trying to speed run it or anything, but yeah, man, I've been enjoying it a lot. The Abbey has been. I've gotten into the flow of things now that I know what the schedule is. Like you can only do one of this, and that per day. Because I understand it better, I'm a little more accepting of it. I think there's a hilarity to the hangouts, stargazing with who did I go stargazing with? I think like Deadpool, and he was saying some out of pocket stuff. That stuff is good. I wish I could take the personal like friendship level moments where you're about to hit another rank and it's continuing their story. I wish we could take that up a notch. I love Blades with the book club and everything, bro. That is amazing.
Why he trying to Mac to miss?
Yeah, he's trying so hard to impress her. He's trying so hard. That's the good stuff. I want more of that. So if they keep doing that, it's gonna be in my good graces. But yeah, it's been enjoyable. Now, as many of you saw last week, Hogue Law sold me on a certain video game that I was a little bit on the fence with, but I knew I was going to play at some point. That's Master Detective Archives Rain Code. To my Danganronpa fans out there, this is the latest game from Tokyo Games, headed up by Kazutaka Kodaka, writer, director of Danganronpa 1, 2, V3. And now when Kazutaka Kodaka left Spike Chunsoft and went on to make Tokyo Games, I was excited. We were getting things like Death March Club, and there was Zenkai Zero, something like that. There was 2 games they made that were total misses. They were just not, Death March Club in particular, not good at all. And many people were just like, come on, just give us more Danganronpa. Okay, so because Hogue liked it so much, I picked it up. And I know some writing's going to be like, oh, COG was champion this one game for a while. Why are you late? I got no good reasoning for it other than this is the first game I got to order to my house. I was like, oh, this sounds kind of cool. All right. So I bought it. I started it last night. 5 hours like that. Gone.
Oh, man, it's over. We lost them, y'all. It's over.
Danganronpa fans, stand up is what I have to say. So, oh man, dude, I forgot how goddamn good this feeling is what I would say. Like that feeling of, like, what's this mystery? Like, how did this happen? I won't even say what happened, right? We're going to be very protective. How did this happen? What? Okay. And like, I go through putting all the pieces together, and you think you got a game plan. I'll get through the mechanics and everything in a moment. You get to the end and you see all the pieces coming together, and it's just brilliant mystery design. Like this dude, when he is making murder mysteries, Kodaka is unbeaten. And this man, in my opinion, those of you who listened to me and you went through Danganronpa and you did Danganronpa V3, and even you, Cog, I think if one day you did it, you would be tremendously impressed with V3's opening, because it is, in my opinion, a top 5 video game opening. Like, this man knows how to blow your mind off the rip. Now, Rain Code isn't mind-blowing, but it's complex and interesting, and so that makes it very fun. I would put it in the ranks of Danganronpa in the terms of beginnings. Like, it's strong, intriguing, there's world building, but there's a lot of very mysterious stuff happening, and the way that the mystery teaches you as you learn about the mechanics, but also as you learn about the world, just expertly done. You can tell a lot of lessons were learned. Like Danganronpa 1's mystery, very easy to kind of pick apart. You kind of get ahead of things at times. This game, the way it's structured and how it's rolled things out, I feel like you're not going to have that too much. But I also got to shout out, before I get into the gameplay. This is Danganronpa on a higher budget. So you're getting cutscenes, like full on 3D animation that doesn't look awful, cutscenes, and lots of characterization, like, like emotions displayed, not just in the sprites that are on screen, but also their face. Like, you see them reacting, moving their hands and whatnot. Is it the prettiest game? No, it's Switch exclusive, but it looks good enough. I think as someone who played it docked for 5 hours, I was continuously impressed. And a lot of cutscenes fully voiced. It's literally Danganronpa on a bigger budget, which is not what I expected with a new IP.
Oh, I don't have to press the button a million times. So much damn.
You can auto.
Text.
You can put on auto.
Okay, but you said there's voice, though.
There is voice. Yeah.
That's
huge. I'm talking even like the little things like, what's this eye drop bottle here? And he'll say something about it. Like he'll like it's fully voiced, which has been great. So gameplay. What happens is you're a master detective named
What's the name?
You ready for this one?
Yes.
This will put so many people off the game. Yuma Cocoa Head.
See, there we go.
I know.
Coco, man, we Coco brothers. Oh,
I know,
man.
bro. And I heard it, I was like, man, there goes that recommendation to COG. I know this man don't want to be running around as Yuma Cocoa Head.
What was the prefix before Cocoa Head? What was it? Wumo? What is it?
Yuma.
Yuma?
Yeah.
Cocoa Head.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I'm of the mindset, I don't know. I don't think that's his real name. I don't think that's his real name. It's not bad.
I guess he wasn't born that way.
It's not bad. I don't think that's his real name. I think because like he's got amnesia when he starts the game, which is like one of my favorite cliches. I realize like I like when you don't know what's going on with the main character. Like I like figuring out alongside them because when they synchronize the main character realizing something with you, it's fucking amazing. So anyway, you think you're a master detective as a part of the World Detective Organization. And so you're heading to Kanai Ward, which is a district controlled by the Amaterasu Corporation. And the idea is that no one knows what's going on here, but that mysteries have been born here often, and you got to go in and try to solve them. And so that's where the game starts. I don't want to give up any more than that. So as you're solving these mysteries, what happens is you go into mystery labyrinths, which are what they call the manifestation of a mystery. It's very meta, very kind of gimmicky. And what happens is you're going to run through this labyrinth and there'll be as you would in Danganronpa, a series of mini games. You're going to have a sword in your hand. All right. And as people shoot arguments at you, you're going to kind of hack and slash a little bit your way down. You're going to dodge out of the way of these arguments. So it's a little bit more of an action game in that way, which is kind of cool.
Dangan though.
Yeah, like Danganronpa, you're moving a cursor, but you're actually moving a character around.
Oh, to move around with the way and stuff. Okay, got you.
And it's fixed. I don't want to trick anyone. It's fixed as in like you have slots almost, and you'll switch slots. And then when an argument comes your way, because it's more action focused, you have to be more quick on your feet. You have to like think a little bit faster, so there's a little more pressure. So when you see like a red hued text coming your way, and you have the right solution key is what it's called instead of truth bullet. You're going to slash right through it and, Danganronpa type energy, like I'll cut through your argument kind of energy.
Of course, you said the whole thing. I like that, but like how that control, because that was my problem with Danganronpa. Some of the controls started getting wonky.
No, I mean, right now, fine. Right now, there's that, which is called a reasoning death match or something like that. Their naming in these is wild. These games. And then there's one. This is where the game filters a lot of people, I think. So there's one where so you as an amnesiac protagonist have been resurrected by a death god, you believe, Shinigami.
Okay.
Now, I like this because I am a lover of Death Note, where you have a kind of detective storyline with a character named Shinigami. So I can see the inspiration there, so it speaks to me a bit. However, Shinigami is a ghost who, when you are in the mystery labyrinth, is a very sexual woman. Yeah. And so she there's one line. There's one line where this chick's like, why don't you look at my boobs for 8 seconds? That'll fix things. And Lily's like working on the couch, and Brocog, I got this kind of eye, like, that glance where it's like, what the fuck you playing? I'm just like,
she like, what's going on over there?
she's playing Danganronpa 1 and 2, so she knows. Like, she knows what these games are capable of. You know, Aoi
Rain
Yasuhina.
code.
We know.
When it was raining.
Yeah, right. So we know what these games are capable of. So no one was surprised, just a little disappointed. So that's the filter character. So the mini game, it's a good mini game in that, like, you'll have letters rotating around a barrel and you're gonna throw like a knife at them. But this is where you move a cursor around, you click, and you kind of put together a word. You know, you're completing a sentence, right? And when you do that, the barrel breaks and she's in a bikini. That's kind of the filter moment there, where I don't know. Some people won't care. I kind of find it easy to ignore. And you all heard me bitch up a storm about this stuff. And then last thing is finishing a argument in the game, like your kind of final closing argument, right? The climax reasoning, I believe, is the name of the track in Danganronpa, where you're taking all the evidence you've gathered and you're putting together to complete your final argument. The good news is I did this at 3:30 in the morning because I was so invested in this mystery, and I thought, oh my God, my brain is going to break trying to put this together. They did a phenomenal job giving you hints to help you piece things together. Again, it feels like a lot of stuff from Danganronpa that they learned was put into this game. So right now, I'm 5 hours into Master Detective Archives Rain Code, and I'm loving what I'm playing. And I want to wait before I give the full recommendation, y'all, because I know I saw the comments, I saw some write-ins about, you know, we just had one like, yo, do a spoiler cast. I know there's a lot of anticipation for maybe, you know, oh, is this the return of the Danganronpa style game? Right now is looking like we got that. I want to play more because many of you who are familiar with Kodaka's work, you usually have that chapter 3 that infamously is always very mid. But right now, the starting argument or case was fantastic. And I am very, very invested in what's going on in this world because it's just a wonderful setup. It really is.
Nice.
So that's what I've been playing. I had to go off on this. You'll hear about it more next week because I'm gonna try to do at least a case a week. That should be pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, because I want to make sure I keep Midnight Suns the major.
Worried.
Well, no. It's not taking me away. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Midnight Suns.
How you get with those games?
I'm telling you, I'm okay right now. Now, when we get to the finale territory, there may be a little shift in priorities, but
of course,
of either game, I smell the ends coming one way or the other. One of them's getting dusted quick. So,
I'll feel you. That is dope. Because salute to Hogue. We got to give Hogue his props. He's the one that kind of got you in this direction. It
definitely left me feeling a little bit like, why did I doubt you, bro? Why did I doubt it? When I saw the art style, the music, by the way, look, if y'all love Danganronpa like I do, which many of you trusted me and you did, keep an eye out. Listen to your boy. I'll be here next week talking more about it. Right now, I'm really pleased what's there because, bro, okay, last thing. I love the art style in these games because every character, I know they look ridiculous sometimes, but they're so well designed in an intentional way. Like there's no just like, let's put an arm patch on them because like there's a reason for everything they have on them. And it gives them a lot of personality. And so that's what I really love about this game too, is there's a lot, like there's things I noticed about certain characters with their hair or pins they're wearing, things like that, where I was like, oh, okay, that's an important detail. Like, what's that going to mean? And then there's little Easter eggs, like one of the characters in the starting point of the game had like a Monami pin, which is from Danganronpa 2. So little things like that. But I'm really digging it so far. So shout out to Master Detective Archives Rain Code, Nintendo Switch exclusive. So my Xbox fans out there, apologize. My PlayStation fans out there, I apologize.
Oh, they don't wait, PlayStation?
Nope. No one's got it except
this is a Switch exclusive?
Yep.
And these are the makers of
Danganronpa.
Wow, that's
dude. I think they were going back to basics because Danganronpa Vita started there, and then it went to PlayStation consoles, then it went to Switch, then it went to Xbox. So let them cook. Let them put this on Switch handheld where it's great. Let's move it over to probably PlayStation first.
Nintendo dropped that bag.
Yeah, I think they were wise to. This game does have, it feels bigger budget than anything
Yeah.
they've done before. So
Okay.
right now it's paying off. That game's been great.
Fair enough.
All right, Cog, we got a couple of questions here and we'll get into the news. We'll try to go through them quick because we don't want to run out of time here. First one goes to your boy, Nikki V. Hey, booty boy Barry and Italian titty goblin stallion Maddie. Dudes, just want to congratulate you on a very informative episode of DD Ultimate concerning handhelds. Just as a follow-up, I wanted to ask if you boys think Microsoft will enter this space anytime soon. Given now how much console form factor tends to shrink throughout a generation, I could definitely see a small Series S fitting into a handheld at some point. Cheers, cuties. Nick. I'm still team Xbox isn't going to do this.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think they just want Game Pass on these things and let people mess around with it. Keystone, when that comes around, yeah, I think that'll be it. But I don't know if they're going to do a handheld for a long while. I think what they did with Asus and the ROG Ally, I think that kind of partnership is more what they're looking for. But what do you make of it?
100%. I hate to break it to my boy Nikki V, but I don't think it's happening. I think you nailed it. Keystone is, from a streaming stick perspective, and not needing anything maybe. But as far as, he's right about Series S over time. The form factor could potentially shrink, but they don't want to. Hardware is not where they're at. They're with services, man. This is where it is. Cloud and services. Put it wherever the device is at. So yeah,
and I think they want to sell what exists. It's not like they're seeing like, oh, console sales are plateauing. We should add something new to the ecosystem. It's like they're trying to get it on the incline right now.
Exactly. So. And then remember, you're selling consoles at a loss. You try, you know what I mean? So it's like it's all Game Pass all day. That's where it's at right now.
Brian Lozano is our next question here. Hey, Dukes, just wanted to ask if you could provide some clarification on what determines a play for a game on Game Pass. A week back, the news dropped that Scorn had reached a 2 million player count. I personally tried Scorn for about an hour and dropped it immediately. Would I be a part of the player count? If so, how much value can we put in these total player count numbers? Maybe an interesting stat to view would be the increase and decrease in subscribers when a certain game arrives. Thanks, guys, and I'm running late for work and realized my gas tank is on empty before leaving the house. Type of day. Brian, I feel you. I feel you on that spiritually, but Cog, what qualifies a play? This is something we kind of talked about on our DD Sacred Symbols crossover where Colin was trying to emphasize that like, oh, people aren't beating Game Pass games as much as games that they pay for. And so we got into it a little bit in that angle, but we talked last week about, as Brian put it here, Scorn reaching 2 million players. What qualifies as a play? Did you boot the game up and that's it?
That's a good point. I do not know. I do not know how they classify that, and I'm very curious. If it's just the amount of just booting it up, yeah, then you could definitely finesse the numbers. There's no question. When I hit 2 million play, I was thinking, well, maybe concurrent at one time, right? But it's hard to do that. I mean, not that they have to have the metrics on single player games, but I do feel, to Brian's point, there is, I don't want to say fudging, but that you can finesse that to your advantage. And I don't feel it's a stat that I'm going to put a lot of weight into, right? That's just where I'm at. I agree with him on the subscriber count, but where I disagree is they'll never say, hey, when this happened, this game dropped, we got a loss in subscribers or something like subscribers. We're never going to see that number. That's something that's going to stay internal, and we will never get that. But I think to his point, I think we do need a better stat than the play. I do agree with that because I don't think we get enough information. But again, I don't know what the play constitutes officially. And it's actually a good question to ask. I would probably try to ask someone to see, like, what does that, unless you have some insight.
I only have guesses. I have no insight on this, actually. I would guess it means you booted the game up.
Yeah,
that would be it. I don't think they, like, go beyond any of that. And that's why it's what I would call a soft stat. Like, it's definitely not one you put a ton of stock into unless the number is extremely high. Like, High on Life is a great example of the player count meaning a lot because it was the most played third-party day one game on Game Pass. It's like, that's a different angle that represents something more meaningful than maybe a million people booting up Scorn and going, nah, like this first hour is mad boring. Brian probably had the same experience as millions of people where they fired it up and went, yeah, I don't know what to do next. Because that first puzzle is kind of confusing. So personally, I think, they also could count sales. They could count, it's going to PlayStation soon. So I think it's a good way to get a boost of attention Like, hey, look how many people have played our thing. And I think the gauge for that, if you're a publisher or a sorry if I could speak, potential investor, is maybe you look at something like that, and when I forgot the develop, I think Ebb Games is their name. You're the developers of Scorn, and you're pitching your next game. You can kind of take that number and put it in front of an investor and say, hey, look, we made a thing. And maybe if they're saying it didn't make X amount of dollars, but there's interest in what we do. We just need to budget right. We need to put it in the right set of eyes, and it'll flourish. And it's a good convincing point of like, look, we just need a shot, right? So that's how I kind of look at it. But the player count, you can read into it as little or as much as you want. I think there's more data, like even the achievement numbers. Colin puts a lot of stock into them, but I think for Xbox, they're a little more meaningless just because of, people boot up like Brian did with Scorn, and you don't get to the end because you just want to see if you like it. And
right.
And so that more and more people who boot it up and don't finish it, that final completion percentage is going to continue to diminish. And there are also people who boot it up and plan to beat it, but just don't get to it over time. So you'll never know 110%, but that's why you collect data from all different angles. So that's my read of it all.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add to it. Now that I think about it, I do think the play is just when you boot up, because in the Game Pass rewards section, sometimes they like for the week, they be like, yo, play da-da-da-da. And literally what I do is I just boot it up. I'm like, oh, you going to give me 75 points just for touching such and such game? Yep. And I'll literally hit the cloud play, and that counts as a play. The thing will click, and then I go off to the next one. So it's literally just booting up, I think. And I did want to add one other thing to your point, where most played is a more valuable stat to me, because I'm looking at it right now. Most played games right now, Xbox Live, in the top 10 is Diablo, right? That's the number 10 on Xbox. Number 11, Exo Primal.
Uh-oh.
So the Exo Primal guys could go to Capcom. Microsoft go to Capcom and look, you're right here next to NBA 2K, Grand Theft Auto Online, Apex Legend, Minecraft. That is impressive. Now, granted, it's first week or second week or whatever it is. Still, though, right? Yeah. So to me, most played games and most played Game Pass game is what I kind of look at to see kind of how the community's taking on to something sometimes.
Well said. News time, ladies and gentlemen. Number one. After plenty of going back and forth, PlayStation has finally signed a deal for Call of Duty, with the Activision Blizzard deal pending completion. This announcement arrived via Phil Spencer's personal Twitter account, where he wrote the following, quote, "We are pleased to announce that Microsoft and PlayStation have signed a binding agreement to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation following the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. We look forward to a future where players globally have more choice to play their favorite games," end quote. This isn't the first we've heard of an offer being made to PlayStation regarding Call of Duty, so it's fair to ask which rendition of the deal this is. Microsoft confirmed to The Verge that this is a 10-year deal limited to Call of Duty. Originally, Xbox had offered a deal which kept existing Activision titles on PlayStation, including future versions of current Activision games, until 2027, but that is no longer the case. However, that hasn't prevented the CMA from doing CMA things, as the deadline is now passed. The CMA has delayed their decision from July 18th to August 29th, pushing itself past the initial deadline. Here's what it said in an official filing on its own website. Quote, "The statutory period for the CMA either to accept final undertakings or make a final order currently ends on the 18th of July 2023. The CMA considers that there is insufficient time remaining in the statutory period for full and proper consideration of Microsoft's submission of the proposed order. As such, the inquiry group considers that there are special reasons to extend by 6 weeks under Section 41A2 of the Act the period of the discharge of its duty under Section 412 of the Act. The revised period will therefore end on August 29, 2023. However, the inquiry group aims to discharge its duty as soon as possible and in advance of this date," end quote. With the delayed decision to the CMA, the door was effectively open for Activision to take their $3 billion cancellation fee and walk thanks to the merger deadline. However, that will not be happening, as Microsoft and Activision have negotiated a new merger deadline. Here are the details again from Phil Spencer. Quote, "Microsoft and Activision Blizzard have extended the merger agreement deadline to October 18th. We're optimistic about getting this done and excited about bringing more games to more players everywhere," end quote. The Verge got their hands on an email sent from Phil Spencer to Xbox employees following this move and gives further insight into the team's thoughts behind said move. Quote, While we can technically close in the United States due to recent legal developments, the extension gives us additional time to resolve the remaining regulatory concerns in the UK. End quote. All right, Cog, a lot to take away from here. New deadline, PlayStation bending the knee, exclusivity in the cards for a lot of the Activision IP for Xbox, and the deadline merger is different once more. So, Cog, with all of that, you can choose where we begin here, sir. Certainly, we have many write-ins about what I have here is like what products will be exclusive, what will be multi-platform, so on and so forth. What's going into Game Pass when the deal is done. So let's hear it from you, sir. What do you make of all of this?
The knee has been bent. After all of the, look, I have to call it like how I see it. And this is not to the console war. It's just like, there was a lot of fraudulent behavior that we did see from Sony, I have to be honest, in reference to the being able to exist without Call of Duty rhetoric. And one of the things that came out to me in that trial was the fact that they had a conversation with Jim Ryan had said, we will be fine. We expected them to do that. Look, they even kind of had a joke like, they could have spent less money and they had to do, this, that, and the third. And as far as exclusivity is concerned, so that is how I've always envisioned this. And I've always looked at this logically, and I've tried to take my biases or what my platforms are out of the equation. If you look at it, shout out to the cops who are looking at it right now.
Sir.
Like if you look at it objectively and if you show me a list, pre-acquisition, this is how Call of Duty and the platforms it is going to be on. Post-acquisition, these are all the additional platforms that's going to be on. Cloud, Switch, all these other things. So, to me, it's a no-brainer. And then listen, in fairness, deals of this scope have to be scrutinized, have to have regulatory checks and balances. I will be very clear. That has to happen. So to me, I understand this is going to be a long process. What was frustrating me was the lack of knowledge, the lack of information of the games industry by regulatory bodies. It was just obscene to me where they have to come out and bring, here's a Nintendo Switch, here's an Xbox, there are, and here's, PlayStation. They're all part of the same market. Like when you have to explain on that level, then I always felt trepidation. The other thing was the other 30 or 20 or semi countries who did approve the deal approved it quickly with no problem. So that's, in my opinion, when I felt politics started to get involved with this, and whether it be, people trying to silence big tech or control big tech, which I understand. I understand the logic behind it. I understand anti-monopoly policy. I get that. These things have to exist. We clear. But if we look at this objectively and you say, hey, you are still going to get Call of Duty PlayStation after this deal. We are not even taking this away from you. This is a legacy game. And then here's the thing, Maddie. The deal is slightly worse for them now. The kicking and scratching and all of this, the going to Lulu and telling them, I don't care what happens. We're just going to block your deal, right? I get it. You had to do what you had to do for shareholders, Jim Ryan. I get it. But now, as it comes out, it seems exclusive to just the Call of Duty part. And now the other things that you kind of wanted, you ain't getting. So was it worth it is the question now, right? Was it worth it all? Or maybe you just say, hey, I'm just going to hold them up. Maybe that was your strategy. So look, we're coming to the end of this. We're coming to the close of this. As far as the CMA, even though I didn't agree with their ruling initially, I understood, in fairness to the CMA, I understood cloud would be a problem as far as their potential dominance in a nascent market. And I understand that, hey, if a new cloud partner emerges, what happens then? They don't get Call of Duty. I get that. I get that. So it looks like now that we've got to where we are now, this is going to be extended. I actually agree with Microsoft on this. And I agree with them doing it this way because, look, yes, can they brute force it and say, we close right now? Hey, the FTC has been vanquished. Move on. Put the flag down. It's over. You can do that right now. But smart business says, hey, don't carve out that region. Work with them. So this is like a game delay. This is like games coming out. We've confirmed it. All partners are involved. You know what I'm saying?
This is a great way of putting it. Great way of putting it.
It's the game's out. Here it is. The new title's now. Instead of dropping it, it's dropping in October, y'all. Whatever. And I think it behooves
God
all
help
parties.
us if it takes until then. No,
I don't want it to go into next year. But you need the UK. You do need them. And in this way, they save face. Hey, we fought big tech. we made them concede. We made Microsoft concede to our demand. They go back to their constituents and look good. It's the politic part. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
Xbox wants the deal to go through, so they're going to let them politic it up.
Let them politic. It's a couple more months. And kudos to Activision, because technically, Activision could have said, yo, we ain't waiting for nothing. We can get our bag. So that shows Bobby wants the bigger picture and that crew want the bigger picture. They know what's at stake. So everyone's playing nice, shaking hands, kissing babies. We know what we got to do. Come on. We know this is the game. This is why I said politics, there's always a little bit of crazy. You can't never predict that part. But we are here. And ultimately, what I care about, the consumer. Is this good for the consumer? Yes. It may hurt Sony short term, but it's good for the consumer and the competition of the circle of gaming. That is undeniable. Now, if you want to talk about, I'm concerned about consolidate, fine, that's fair. The long-term ramifications, that is fair if you want to talk about that. But if you want to talk about the here and now and the gaming sphere and the fact that mergers and all these vertical has been going on for the longest, and this is not to the scale of Time Warner and all this other stuff that has happened in other industries, there's nothing illegal about this. And that's the hill I'm going to die on. And I'm a consumer first. So if you're going to give me Call of Duty and Activision Blizzard and King Games, all on a service that I'm already paying for, yes, thank you, please. So that's where I'm at.
Well said. With this new agreement, PlayStation absolutely lost out. I mean, and it's interesting now with the benefit of hindsight, seeing them feel so confident, we're going to be okay, more than okay. And then they scratch and claw and then lose more in the end than they previously would have been given. The first deal, granted, was 10 years. And this is also a 10-year deal, to my knowledge. And now they're not going to get things like if there's a Spyro, Crash, Tony Hawk, whatever else, Odyssey. I still think Odyssey is going to be exclusive. These things now that previously were going to go to PlayStation, we've already seen Xbox has come in and killed PlayStation SKUs before. They've denied it till they're blue in the face, but they absolutely have killed PlayStation SKUs. And now this opens the door. We can do this and we can get away with it because the judges, regulators, everyone's been focused on Call of Duty.
She mentioned Diablo, by the way, that she don't think that's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. And so now Xbox, they're going to run away with that. No doubt about it, if they can. And they're going to try to strengthen their platform at this stuff. So I know this won't define PlayStation, but here's the thing that people need to consider. And I said this on our crossover episode, so I apologize if I'm sounding redundant. Now PlayStation has to be very wary because their two most lucrative games on their platform will be Microsoft published games. Call of Duty, Minecraft. And while right now they are in the good graces of a leadership team that loves video games, wants PlayStation around, at least in a public-facing way. We don't know if there's still any more Matt Booty spend. We could hypothetically spend them out of the business type energy in the building.
Booty was talking strong.
He was talking strong.
Wow, strong.
Right. And it was 2019. I'm not going to defend it, but point being is we don't know if that energy is in the building right now. Where I worry for PlayStation and their fans, who are just diehard fans, I worry about them when the 10-year deal expires and when there's new leadership at Xbox. What happens with Call of Duty? Do they tighten things up there? It's like, yeah, here's your 10 years. See ya. I worry about that. And you may have wished you had these other games. At least. So that's the other thing. PlayStation now has to be very, very aware of like, okay, we need to make our own money printing live service games, which they're doing because they're smart, and get away from the fact that maybe we won't make something as big as Call of Duty or as big as Minecraft, but that we can sustain ourselves without having to do a deal with the devil and having our main competitor take a cut of our most popular third-party games on the platform. That's a bad situation to be in. And Microsoft is playing with house money now. So PlayStation's in a rough spot. Sorry, go ahead, Cog.
No, you cooking. That is so key because to me, it exposed the flaw in their strategy. They never saw this day coming. That's what this showed me. They never saw. Like you said, Steven Totilo also had the quote, in 2022, the most downloaded PlayStation 5 game in the US was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. The most downloaded PS4 game was also Modern Warfare 2. The third most downloaded PS4 game Minecraft. Microsoft is now on the verge of becoming PlayStation's most important third party. Like you said, be wary, right? Because at the end of the day, 10 years up, who knows where the landscape is in 10 years, right? Who knows what can happen in 10 years? So that's why, to me, this is actually, I'm going to flip it. This is actually good that it happened. And the reason why is because they were too reliant on third party money. The numbers came out that first party for them represented only like 15% of their revenue. 15%. Wow. So now you're
so what that number is for Xbox.
I know, it's crazy.
It's 15% for them. Holy shit.
I don't know what that number is. But it's a good point, right? So it's like, okay, you had this over reliance on this third party making you all this revenue. And I get why you're going to kick and scratch, but that's why the Bungie acquisition, that's why you're going to have to make live service. You're going to have to make multiplayer. You're going to have to diversify your portfolio. You can't just, I'm always hashtag just one here, but they can't just hashtag just one anymore and think that's the answer. You're going to have to do other things to get this revenue, which makes it more competitive. I like aggressive Sony. I like when they're competitive, it makes Xbox competitive. And to me, the last point I'll say, and I interrupted you, is that,
you're good.
Look, the game is the game. Exclusives are exclusives. But I know it's a lot of people white knighting and vilifying Microsoft for this, but white knighting the removal of Xbox from the sphere, which was going to happen if they had Call of Duty, if they had Starfield, if they had all these exclusive games that they've money had it based on their global dominant brand and position, right? The equivalent was, because people are so afraid of consolidation, the equivalent is Xbox was going to be removed from the game if they continued these practices. There was not that there was no other recourse, but the question became, will Microsoft ever spend to invest in their gaming division the way PlayStation is spending? And that we see is being answered now. But back to your point, I just wanted to highlight that point you said, which was excellent, about where their revenue is coming from and the over-reliance with Microsoft now in control of the things they make a lot of money of. So I thought that was an excellent point.
Gamers just need to become Mets fans, and I think they'd get it a lot more. When you got an owner with a good team that's not spending. I just think a lot of y'all need to sign up for the New York Metropolitans, and you'll get us a whole lot more. That's all.
That's all. Listen, we've been through that pain. We know about it, yeah.
So yeah, the exclusivity game is going to start to turn in Microsoft's favor. The reason that's good, I'm sorry, that's just where a lot of my focus goes, because I'm part of me, if some of the conversation on the legality of it all is a bit tiresome. I mean, this is a gaming show at the end of the day, and I'd like to talk about that. But what this should provide Xbox is complete stability. We can no longer, it was already unacceptable to have a 2022 black hole type of scenario where nothing except Pentiment and Grounded came out, both from the same company. All right.
BlackRock.
The fact that, shout out to BlackRock.
Holding it down.
The fact that happened is unacceptable. But now if you have your first party, which looks to be clicking on all cylinders, Bethesda, and then Activision Blizzard, and then your third party deals, your day one Game Pass, content needs to be and should be the least of your issues as a company moving forward. Now, the quality of that content, that's, I think, a little bit concerning, because the biggest thing you can learn if you are Xbox is every lesson you were taught or ones that you ignored during your acquisition of Bethesda, because you've now learned, whether you like it or not, Redfall was on you. It's not Arkane Austin. They're the victim here. It's you, Microsoft. It's you. So with more power, more products, more pressure is on them.
Comes what? You had the Spider-Man shirt.
I did.
You was ready to do it. I was ready to hear it.
Great responsibility.
My man, there we go. Talking.
I leapfrogged a really good moment there, didn't I? But that's where my head's at, is that Xbox is now going to be well positioned to be extremely competitive. And if you fail with this, then I don't know what you're doing here, is what I would say. I want them here. I think they make great games. I know we forget sometimes that they make great games because it's been a while. They've added so much to this industry. And I think you got to start showing people that, because, again, I'll remind people This isn't to detract from Xbox, but I think it's a fair point of consideration on how these acquisitions add to what they put out. You remove Bethesda from this year. Let's play the alternate universe. They never get Bethesda. Last year, vacant. This year, you get Minecraft Legends and Forza Motorsport. Remember what we said about burger, fries, shake? You're getting that again this year. But instead, because they got Bethesda, you get Hi-Fi Rush. Yes, you get Redfall.
Yes.
You also get Starfield.
Yes.
Look, it's a huge difference with these companies behind Xbox. Yeah. And so, as long as they manage the quality of the content well, and again, they're going to be granted what I like to call the Bethesda buffer, as in that first 1 to 2 year window, it ain't on them.
Right.
But once that window passes, everything is claimed under Xbox.
Oh, facts.
And you got to face the repercussions of that. So
absolutely. That's fair.
Otherwise, timeline-wise, yeah, that's really depressing. I really was hoping this would be the week to come in. It's over. It's done. The fight is over. Call it off. Xbox is... But no, it's not. CMA delaying for CMA things. Like Cog said, though, we've on Duke said multiple times that we get the cloud market concerns. I think it's fair because that was the thing that me, you, and Hogue all said in DDU that it's not about the exclusivity. It's not about Call of Duty. It's going to be about cloud because that's where Xbox's future is. And they're the only one in the industry right now that is beyond, I'd say, NVIDIA, paving completely toward that, right? And they have a strong service that is supported by that. It's a world of difference. And PlayStation, for example, with PS Now, still woefully behind. Last thought, I'm very unsurprised that Xbox and Activision renegotiated to a new merger deadline. It seems like they gave themselves quite the buffer to ensure that any hiccups or delays in decision making here would put them in a spot to really wrap things up here. So they're all sitting pretty. But Cog, any other thoughts here on this new Call of Duty deal with Xbox and PlayStation, or anything happening in regards to the Activision Blizzard deal?
No, it's just been, a long journey. We're finally towards the end of this. The major thing I think was probably the FTC. Actually, no, I'll take it back. To me, the turning point was the EU. The EU saying yes, because at that point, remember, if EU says no, this thing really dies. And I thought the EU was critical, and then that gave them a little strength going into the FTC, and then we got the FTC, and then we got to be honest, Judge Corley's arguments I thought were super sound. I thought they made common sense. I felt it was talking from a perspective of someone who at least has the fundamental understanding of how the games industry work. And the key statements for me was, okay, how does this, you mentioned Sony, but how does this hurt consumers? And I thought the FTC's arguments were terrible. I thought they didn't even do their research with what a Windows license was. The thing for me, and I remember that. Remember that? Bro, that was awful. The critical thing for me, and I don't think a lot of people mention it a lot, was the Bobby Kotick strong arm to Xbox. And at that point, if Xbox does not capitulate and bend the knee to Activision, Call of Duty would have been removed from the Xbox Series consoles. And PlayStation, and they were comfortable with that based on the sales and the revenue that they were getting. That to me is, no one's talking about that enough to me. And Microsoft says, hey, we never do 80-20 unless it's rare circumstances. But for this, we couldn't take this away from our base. This is too critical a game. And he strong-armed the situation. So it's interesting now with Karma, now they go through a company scandal, shakeup, they're in trouble. They're reaching out for a lifeline on buyers. And here's the last point. Remember this. People always accuse Microsoft of just buying everything. Activision became remember the M&A list showed us Activision was not on their list. Mm-hmm. So this is an unfortunate mishap. Oh, you're having trouble. Mm-hmm. Oh, Mr. 80-20. Oh, look at you now, right? So that's where the business comes in. And they swooped. So that's why all the stuff that was on that list probably didn't happen. The Square was on that list. Sega was on that list. Or they had, hey, stop everything. We're doing that. So it's just interesting, the sequence of events that led us to where we are. And look, all I care about, as a consumer and as a person who I still feel Game Pass is the best deal in gaming. And this is going to feed that service. And to your point, no excuses, right? Because now you've got one of literally the largest franchise in gaming. You've got one of the biggest publishers in gaming to feed that service. You're going to have to work on your transition plan, and then the IPs will get into all that stuff. But yeah, that's my final thought of it. We're finally towards the tail end of it. Thank God.
We have a couple of write-ins here.
Mm-hmm.
Switchmate Skates writes in, good evening, Dukes. With Microsoft's acquisition all but secured, I've seen many people speculating on the exclusivity of other non-Call of Duty franchises. What franchises would you like to see made exclusive, and which do you think should remain multi-platform? I personally couldn't see Tony Hawk wanting his game to be tied down to one platform. I can only imagine the rage that would ensue if they tried to lock down Crash or Spyro. Would love to hear what you guys say. Thanks. I don't think rage would ensue at all, by the way. I just want to throw it out there.
You just want to throw that out there?
Yeah, I just want to throw it out there. I don't think rage would ensue at all. Not because those franchises aren't important. I think if anything, a lot of people would probably be kind of happy, but just saying.
Just saying.
The Xbox wants games that appeal to kids.
Hey,
I think that's a pretty easy route beyond making your own.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What do you think, Cog? What's staying exclusive? Or I'm sorry, what's going exclusive? What's staying multi-plat to you?
I think everything's up for grabs, exclusive minus like live service kind of stuff, like Call of Duty and Warzone and Diablo. They may make an internal decision. Let's say Diablo 5, right? They say, all right, you know what? Maybe it doesn't make sense to pull this. We get a lot of revenue from PlayStation, maybe that. But to me, it's all about. I think everything. Once I saw Judge Corley's decision, to me, especially with the Diablo part, to me, she only viewed Call of Duty as the true game changer in this, like a Minecraft situation. So I think it's all bets are off, man. I think it's going to be like Phil said with the Zenobet, on a case-by-case basis on places where Game Pass exists. And I think the majority of those games, unless they're live service, will be exclusive. That's where I'm going with right now. Yeah. It's showing me enough evidence to make me believe that.
Yeah, I totally agree. One thing I'll say that would look kind of weird, though, is if, I guess this would be kind of the rule with like future, like Doom and Fallout, like new games. I'm saying in those franchises is like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake being multi-plat, and 3-4 remake being only on Xbox. I think would maybe confuse some people. I don't know. I give gamers more credit than that personally, but you never know. With some people like, why is it here and not over there? But I don't know, man. I feel like they're going to lock down more than people are really giving credit to. I really think they're about, because they now have a vault of massive IP. The most lucrative one that people talk about the most is going to be available to everyone. I think everything else, though, it's going to go straight to Xbox. I even think a lot of live service stuff will go straight to Xbox. Again, I just tell people, look at Forza Horizon, look at Sea of Thieves. Like, Xbox can have extremely successful live service products limited to their ecosystem. 100%. Even, I know we don't rain a lot of praise on it, but like Halo Infinite's player count going up a little bit.
Okay.
Seasons looking good. The Xbox console player count, if we're to look at top play games and make guesstimates, not looking too awful, but you look at Master Chief Collection, like Xbox has had success with service-like games in their ecosystem, so I don't even write those off. I know a lot of people think multiplayer, more players, more money, but Contraband, that's going to be exclusive. That's going to be a service-type game. So I don't know. That's how I'm looking at it. I think it's almost all bets are off at this point. They kind of like gave PlayStation the good deal. They played the nice guy. Now they don't got it, remember?
Exactly.
We talked about this when the 10-year deal went up. I remember you saying like, well, that's done. Right? We paid our dues. Now we're going to focus on us because you had your time, and I just feel that's kind of the same energy here. Like, well, we tried to give you a good deal. This is all ours now. Well within our rights to be ours now. We tried to give it to you. You didn't want it. So.
We got to see. I mean, I do agree that all bets are off. Now that they've got through this major hurdle, I completely agree.
We have another write-in here from Zach Dalton. Hey, Dukes, over the past few days, I've seen many people online seriously overestimating what ABK games will come to Game Pass. I've seen people excited to play Sekiro, delisted Transformers, Tony Hawk, and Spider-Man games that Activision made, and even the Guitar Hero games like no one understands licensing issues with these games. Thus, do you think people will be disappointed when it won't be the entire ABK catalog on Game Pass? Hog, what's your guess on what's going to be there? And of course, do you think there will be disappointment when certain things don't make its way in there?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be those weird things where, like, remember when we looked at when they did that last back-to-back push, and you're like, yo, bro, where's this Jet Set Radio at? You know, Future. And, you know, it's going to be some weird omissions. They're going to try their hardest to make it happen. But licensing is tricky because, again, you know, who has it at this stage, right, is the key. And I know Microsoft will do the due diligence to try to make it happen, no question. And Activision now being part of the fold, they're going to do their best. I think they'll get a nice, strong core. But I agree with Zach. I don't think they're going to get everything. I just hope Transformers is on that damn list. Come on, man. Come on. And if y'all ain't going to make a new one, can I at least play the old ones? You know what I'm saying? Like, please. Like, that is killing me that I can't pop that in a series console and play that. Those are my joints. So, yeah, I think this is a good, valid point by Zach.
Yeah, I think there will be a little bit of disappointment with the, you know, because a lot of love for the old Activision games, unfortunately, are wrapped up in licensing. So for me, like Spider-Man games, like people watch Retro Rebound, they know, like I talk about a ton of the old Spider-Man games over there. Like Activision had some really, really good ones there that I would love for people to be able to go back and play, especially because, dude, they are so expensive now. Activision has a library of games. Usually when you think old, retro, expensive games, you see Atlas or Squaresoft on the cover. But no, actually, Activision is one of the top ones there, like Marvel Ultimate Alliance Gold Edition.
Oh.
You want that? You want all that DLC on disc? You don't want to worry about Xbox Live or Xbox Game Pass Core, whatever we're calling it now.
Diablo, Marvel.
Yeah, just you gotta pay for that. Got to pay a good $100 for that. So there are plenty of games beyond that. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, all the Transformers games are pricey. I take it from someone who had to collect these all for Retro Rebound. These are expensive games that would really benefit from making their way into Game Pass. And I don't know if I doubt they will, I should say. But newer Activision games like Sekiro making their way into Game Pass will be awesome to see. Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remake. I've been waiting for that to hit Game Pass, because that's like, I don't know, I kind of picked that as my first game when the dump comes in, right?
Yeah.
But I still am going to stand on my square that I think they're doing a big Call of Duty drop first.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think you do that first.
You have
like,
to.
Look, we're bringing it to more players than ever before.
Yep. And it establishes we are the face of Call of Duty. Another thing this is going to be huge for is the esports scene. The esports scene in Call of Duty is massive. Yeah. Now, don't be surprised when the controller switch come in and you see them all doing this. And they, bro, you best believe Microsoft see that money going on. It's about to go down. But yeah, I agree. And get ready. You ain't gonna like this one though. You're gonna get that Candy Crush on game. You're gonna get that crush. You're gonna get that. Everybody's gonna be crushing. It's too much money to be made not to put that thing on there, man. Gotta get it.
Anything else you'd like to add about this, or shall we move on?
We should go. We go.
Number 2, it is finally the end of an era. Xbox Live Gold will transition into Game Pass Core on September 14th. Existing subscribers will convert to Game Pass Core when the date arrives. This transition will occur at no extra cost, as Game Pass Core will run $10 a month or $60 a year, and includes online multiplayer and 25 Game Pass titles, with more on the way, as the list will be updated 2 to 3 times per year, according to Xbox. 19 of those games have been listed, with Microsoft planning to announce the others in due time. Here's what they are: Among Us, Descenders, Dishonored 2, Doom Eternal, Fable Anniversary, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Grounded, Halo 5 Guardians, Halo Wars 2, Hellblade Senua's Saga, Human Fall Flat, Inside, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Psychonauts 2, State of Decay 2, Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited. What does this mean for redeemed games with via Games with Gold? Xbox covered that too. Existing Xbox One games redeemed will move over with Game Pass Core subscribers so long as they've been redeemed on the same account. Redeemed Xbox 360 games will still be accessible even without a subscription. Unfortunately, there does appear to be one oversight with this change. As it stands, Game Pass Core offers online multiplayer for users, but console Game Pass, which is an offering that is $1 more, currently does not have that same perk. Psych Coffee writes in, "Hello, Dukes. Can we talk about the mistreatment of the console Game Pass tier? With the new core tier being announced, it brings to light how bad console tier is. Console tier costs more than PC Game Pass or core Game Pass, but includes less features than either of them. This just reminds me of what you have said before with them focusing on PC Game Pass. What are your thoughts, Dukes? Does console Game Pass ever get online access, or am I stuck paying $17 a month for features I don't use so I can play games online? As always, thanks for the excellent content and have a great day. I'm surprised we're still paying to play games online. When you look at Steam, I'm surprised this is still a thing, but it's free fucking money because people have been grandfathered into this way of gaming. But before I get ahead of myself, Cog, always I want to dish it to you. What do you make of this mistreatment of the console Game Pass tier? What do you make of what Psych Coffee had to write here? And of course, the end of an era. Xbox Live Gold is done September 14th, and the timing is mighty interesting. Certain thing around the corner, but go on.
Look, I'll start with Gold first. This I knew was going to happen at some point. They just had to figure out a way, right? So corporate Kagami knew that everyone that's on Xbox Live, that whatever that percentage of is of people on Xbox Live versus Game Pass subscribers, right? And if I had to guess, I would say that gold list was probably way bigger than the Game Pass list, right? Mm-hmm. And they had to figure out a way to convert that dude into Game Pass. That's what the whole mission was. You are going to be in Game Pass because we're going to get these numbers to where they need to be, and we got to get you out of here. That's why, let's be honest, whether it be budget issue or not, games with gold's quality was just, let's come
not
on.
There. Not there anymore.
Dog water. Let's just come on. Like, it wasn't what it was, right? So we saw the focus of the budgeting towards games was Game Pass, right? So that was the early signs. Then we saw when they tried to do the aggressive move with games of gold and the backlash they got creamed in the public sphere as far as them trying to move it aggressively the other way. So now they come back to the table and now they bring court. Now, in fairness, if you're a gold guy and you get transformed into Game Pass Core, that is tremendous value. You're still paying what you're paying, and look at all those games you're getting. You're almost getting, getting a little Game Pass light, games that you didn't have, way more games that you had, way more quality games, and you like that little Game Pass, a little touch, a couple dollars more, we get our little, we hustling to you this great service that you're now getting a taste, right? So I get the hustle. Corporate card gets the hustle. But in fairness, I do understand where people are coming with the core tier, with the console tier, right? Saying that the console tier doesn't have online multiplayer. And I'm not here to justify that. Look, console guys, we just got to call it what it is. We've been getting the short end of the stick. That's just how it is. I'm not saying it's right, but to me, the minute, as great as Xbox is, right, the minute Xbox Live was created from its inception, and they said, hey, this is this new thing, broadband, you get it? And we said, yo, this is cool. Yo, I'm paying for that. I want to talk to my friend. We were done. We were done. They got him. Ghosty Beam got him. We were done. So to talk about that now from an ethics standpoint, the gamer is right. Why are we paying and PC is getting this for free? It is clearly a PC focus. Absolutely, positively right. The issue is, and again, I had to play corporate cog. This is such a revenue stream for them. So they've been getting this for years since OG Xbox. So to tell a corporation, all right, stop that money. That's all right. You give it to us for free now. That's it. You got to figure out a way to get that from somewhere else. And I don't think that is happening. I'm just going to be honest. So to me, what I say to the guys who legitimately say, yo, Cog, this is BS. Come on. You're right. I can't justify it. I can't. So all I say is, Xbox is telling you where to play at. They are literally, and if you don't like it, we got Ultimate for you. Ultimate is where you need to be. So you got a decision, PC or Ultimate. And I think that's where they're nudging. But in fairness to them, the Game Pass Gold guy is getting a better deal. I will give them that. If you just was a gold guy, all you do is you play Madden once a year, you buy Madden, or you buy Call of Duty once a year, and all you care about is going online. And here's the last point I want to say. From a financial standpoint, again, corporate card, I know. But, bro, remember, they dropped. Xbox was the last to drop the free-to-play requirement. Remember, they was holding, oh, no, you want to play free, you got to get on Xbox.
Yeah,
Remember that nonsense?
Yeah.
They was holding on to, so that showed me this is an important bag. They are not, that check must be nice. They not trying to lose that monthly check, Maddie. I know the gamer wasn't hear it, and the gamer is correct. But yeah, they definitely, it's clear as day their favorite PC Game Pass. This is what it is. So yeah, that part does suck, and I'm not going to justify it. Just try to bring the understanding of where they're at with it.
This will no doubt give a huge bump to subscriber numbers for Xbox Game Pass, because I was looking it up while you were talking. In May of 2020, Microsoft reported that Xbox Live Gold had 46 million subscribers.
Wow.
So
46 plus a potential 30. We talking 75.
They're aiming for some type of number in that, bro. We've talked about it for a while. They're looking to get some type of number out of Game Pass to continue pumping the first party and getting where they want to be. And we don't know what that number is, but this is no doubt going to be a massive bump. And there's no coincidence that they're dropping this September 14th. Starfield territory. You know, this is right. But the thing is, this is right in the heart. It's not really at Starfield's launch. It's at the heart of a bunch of Game Pass games dropping at once, with Starfield naturally being the pillar that supports all of that, right? So, again, we have to recognize that Xbox, they're coy. Let's give them a tip of the cap. They're a little bit coy, right? When they announced, oh, we're going to do $70 games. Remember, they reached out to you, people like me, and so on and so forth. They're like, hey, by the way, we're just doing this, right? They're trying to prepare people for what could be blowback, right? And then you see stuff like this, right? They're smart. They're smart. And so just wanted to acknowledge that. But otherwise, Game Pass Core, I actually think as a base offering beyond, naturally what's going on with console Game Pass, which I kind of originally took it as an oversight, but they have yet to say anything on it at all. As of this moment, we're recording this. And that to me says like, oh, this is actually deliberate. And we can read the tea leaves. What's the idea, Cog? Go ahead and tell me. What's the idea with the Game Pass Core and the console Game Pass dudes who are like, I'm not getting as much as the Ultimate dude? What's the goal?
Listen, look, we got this core thing for you, but Starfield's here, and for a couple dollars, this is drug dealing, hustling, bro. I know, I know a hustler when I see one.
Yep.
And it's a smooth hustle because they know in September you ain't gonna be strong enough to hold out with your friends and play Starfield and Forza, and you sitting there on core, and you got Elder Scrolls Online and State of Decay.
That's go play Fallout 4. We got BGS for you.
Exactly. And then let's
for you.
say, watch. There's another prediction I have. Watch Halo 5. You don't even get Infinite. You get Halo 5.
You don't get Forza Horizon 5, bro. You get 4. They're giving you the great value Game Pass. Literally.
And the games that ain't cooking. State of Decay, you go get the Juggernaut edition. We need to get the numbers up. Elder Scrolls Online, we need to get the numbers up, bro. I know, listen, all the games that may be teetering Gears 5, I don't know what their population is right now. You gonna get the numbers up, but you gonna see your friend list on your new console and all that stuff. And guess what else? Call of Duty is around the corner.
Oh.
Hell, and you can't play. Guess what you're gonna do? Ultimate. They know what they do. This is a hustle. Yep. Listen, Corporate Cog, I understand. You gonna flip that number from, what is it? You said, what is it? What was that number you just said? For
40 million was the last report of one, 2020, May.
So that means it was probably, 2-1 over there, maybe 2-1 from a gold guy to a Game Pass guy. They gonna get you. Oh, you gonna wear this Game Pass jersey. You gonna you gonna wear it. Now the key is all the dudes. There's a couple of dudes, and this is anecdotal, Matty, but there's a couple of dudes I know. It's like, yo, I ain't doing no Game Pass on Xbox. I'm talking about Xbox. What? I know a few of them. I'm against subscription service. Xbox, cool, that's it. I'm buying. I know a few of them. I am dying to see what they're going to do right now. Mm-hmm. I will be the flying one. I'm going to be looking at that profile. You see, you going to play State of Decay too? Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to see. I want to see.
It's literally Xbox's PlayStation Plus collection is what it's kind of turned into. And the idea is to get more than anything, the goal here is to get the person who's just been paying for Xbox Live Gold, doesn't give a shit about Game Pass, to get them to go, what is Game Pass Core? Oh, $5 or more, $7 more, and I get all of it. Well, I was already paying 10, 17. Yeah, why not? It's only $7 more. What they're doing is what they've done the whole time. Value propositions in different areas. So it's not just, oh, I'm not paying $17 a month now, I'm going to. It's I'm paying 7 or 10. What's 5 to 7 more? Facts. And I get all of this. And I don't got to worry about anything. If I'm on PC, or my ROG Ally, if I'm on my Xbox, they're trying to get you in no matter what, which is they're not hiding it. It's very obvious.
Because what's the mentality of a game? Okay, so if I get the highest one, I get everything, right? Mm-hmm. Like some people just say that, like, hey, you get the highest one, you get everything. All problem solved. And I think, that's definitely the push here. So you're on fire, Maddie. I think that's exactly what's going on here. And it's 2 birds with 1 stone. They solved that problem with the Xbox Live Gold guy that wouldn't move. Yeah. They solved that.
Yeah, because all the budget, no doubt, was going into Game Pass day one. And why wouldn't it? I mean, Games of the Gold if I was actually looking at some of the old trailers when I was making my video on this news, and some of the old trailers in like 2020, 2021, like they weren't actually dropping bad games at the time. We would tease on Defining Duke, like, okay, when are we going to put the axe to this thing, take it out back?
Oh, yeah, that was a segment.
But it was.
Xbox Live, we had that for a segment, bro.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Bro. We did used to have that. We just stopped talking about it because it was just getting embarrassing. Like, that's literally what I did. I just cut it. I remember, I can't believe I forgot that. Yeah, I cut that completely out of the show because I was like, yo, this is just bad. Like, we're not going to do this anymore. Like, it's dead one of these days. We'll talk about it. Today is that day. But when you looked at some of the older games of gold, they were good. It's just that the reality is, like, where does Xbox want to be? Where they want your money? Where they want you to subscribe? They want you a Game Pass. So they're going to pump that full of life with new exciting things where, you might get like 18-month-old Lego Indiana Jones 2 for your Xbox 360 back compat. Or you can come over to Game Pass and day one, you can try out something like Exoprimal, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So, that's the goal here. Game Pass Core, its game library is hilarious to me.
Yes, it is funny to me too.
We already talked about Horizon and Halo 5, but they got some good ones. Dishonored 2, Doom Eternal, Fable Anniversary is a good one. Note how they're kind of, I look at it this way. I view it like the appetizer.
Yes.
This is the appetizer, because when you really look at it, there are sequels inbound for most of these games.
Ding, you caught it. Yo. Oh, you like a Hellblade. We got to let you get Hellblade.
Yeah.
2 is
Try the first one.
Yeah. Fable, the new one's coming. Everything is a setup to the new. Like, if you think about it.
Yo, get those guys just made a new space game.
Facts. You liked Halo 5. Infinite's out here with new content.
No Sea of Thieves I thought was weird. That feels like one that should have been there. I agree.
To me, that denotes, I look at it like Sea of Thieves really doing well because they ain't even trying to give
nuts. Shout out to Ben.
Shout out to Ben. I thought they would give that a little shot in the arm, but it's like, nah, you gonna have to get in the high tier if you want this hotness.
Yeah, because I mean, there's still games to be revealed, so maybe, but this felt like a pretty obvious one. I thought it was the biggest omission that came to mind right away. I was like, okay, it's live service, it's old enough. It's definitely a newer flavor for Xbox. So I don't know, but nonetheless, that's Game Pass Core. Cog, any final thoughts on this new added subscription tier?
I'm just interested. Like I said, I like what you said because I like to get the thought process of the game selections. I thought those are like, what are they thinking? I think they're going for this well-rounded, pre-sequel kind of list. And, you try to get different genres. You got the Halo Wars 2, you're going to get the RTS guy, you get the racing guy, you got you're going for the genres and certain things. But yeah, I mean, Ori's a nice, come on, Inside Ori, that's a really good
Ori
game.
and Will of the Wisp deserves, forget all the reports about Moon Studio for a moment. That game is phenomenal. Both Ori games are, but Will of the Wisp is beautiful. It's a work of art. Like, that might be next week's Game Pass pick of the week or something. I don't know. But that game is, do not sleep on Ori. Do not. I don't care if you play it on Switch or Xbox or whatever. Do not sleep on Ori.
I gotta throw it on the Ally, man. I miss Ori. I haven't given it. I think that would be a nice little Ally game.
That was one of the main reasons I bought an Xbox One. When I saw Ori and the Blind Forest, that was one of the main things that pulled me in, bro. That game looked incredible. I can't wait to see what they're working on next.
Yeah, I think Coca did the score, right? It's beautiful music, too.
Yeah. All right. Number 3, last bit of news here. Coming soon to Xbox Game Pass. On July 19th, Maquette comes to Xbox Game Pass console and PC. On July 20th, you're going to get Figment 2, Creed Valley on console, PC, and cloud, as well as The Wandering Village. And then you're also going to get on July 25th, Serious Sam, The Siberian Mayhem on series consoles, PC, and cloud. July 31st, you get Venba on console, PC, and cloud. And August 1st, Celeste joins Game Pass on console, PC, and cloud. Meanwhile, leaving July 31st, Dreamscaper leaves console, cloud, and PC. Expeditions Rome leaves PC Game Pass. Marvel's Avengers leaves cloud, console, and PC. The Ascent leaves cloud, console, and PC. Sega 2 Point Campus leaves cloud, console, and PC. Cog, your thoughts on the exits and additions to Game Pass in this second half of the month?
This is not too much for me this month. I might just see, it's Devolver, so I might just want to see what Serious Sam is. I heard a little couple things about it. Celeste is a good game. That's a great addition. Leaving, Marvel, it's time. Get in there, get your story for whatever it was. I mean, I still think the story was actually solid, but then everything else about the game, But I said I do have a little soft spot. I know this is what it was. We really are polarized against. You look at your face. Don't make the face like you smell something bad in the room. Don't. You like it was a real foul odor in here.
I'm just letting you talk, man.
Oh man, I like that face. But the Ascent for our twin stick shooter guys, a lot of potential. I hope they make a sequel, man. I'm pulling for them. We'll see. Actually, you know what's funny? I booted up my PlayStation for reasons. We'll talk about that next week. But I did see the Ascent on there. So it's on PlayStation now. I just saw that. So it's probably like the exclusive deal's up. Ready to cash out over there. Yeah. And 2 Point is interesting because it's Sega. But yeah, interesting. I would say just at least give it a try. See how you feel if you haven't played it already. Or Avengers just to play. Look, graphically, Crystal Dynamics was in their bag with that game and story. So that's it for me. But what about you?
No exciting additions here. This has been such a slow month in the scheme of things. Across gaming, like just not much really going on, which is fine. I mean, I kind of am enjoying it. It's a perfect time for downtime with the move and everything. Like it's kind of good that while numbers are down like on my channels, it's fine because I'm just like, you know what? I like that we're kind of cooling it for a little bit because I know August and September we're going a mile a minute, so that'll be fun. But when it comes to the exits, the real one that I'm kind of upset about is 2 Point Campus.
Yeah,
in one Game Pass game, and I get it. I had a year, right? That was added on launch day in August. But I have this. I've told this story a million times, so I'm gonna spare the audience. I have this love-hate relationship with these types of games, and the hate doesn't come from anything wrong with the game. I hate myself because it's like I can't control myself with these games, and so I always tell the story about. Your man fires up Civilization 5, baby's first campaign. Okay, what's this game about? 18 hours of my life disappearing. I was in college, and I was like, nope, that's way too much for me. So I know these games are so enjoyable and addictive. Like I've had 2 Point Hospital and Campus download on my Series X for so long, but I've not played them because I'm just like, scared. Every time I look at them, I'm like, like, I don't have time for that. I'm going to lose myself to it. I got to be responsible. But now I see it's leaving. I'm like, maybe because I have like a deadline, maybe I'll get in. Maybe I'll have better self-control because I am generally a human being with good self-control, comparatively speaking, to the people who are around me. I always get made fun of for it. So that's the one that I'm kind of aching over. Everything else, nothing of value was lost, Cog.
Shots. I feel you. No, I feel you. I just, like I said, I totally get that because the way you talk about that is how I am with XCOM. I'm like, damn, downloaded those. I should not have downloaded this one. It's going to interrupt. It's going to do so. I want to play games I need to take care of. And now those, I get started, it's over. So yeah, I know what you mean.
With that, Cog, it's time for our Game Pass pick of the week. You're going to have to pardon me, who made the selection this week, for doubling up. And I know we talked about it a little bit, but I'd like to talk about Exoprimal a little bit. Now,
wow, I'm shocked.
I did make a stink face last week at this game.
Yes, you did.
I did make a stink face. Stink face revoked.
Wow, I'm shocked. I gotta hear this.
Yeah. So I've been playing Exoprimal. That's the third game. It was originally in the what I'm playing this week. And I'm like, wait, this is a perfect Game Pass pick of the week. Now, people who watch my channel may have already seen my review for it, but if you haven't, I gave it kind of like if you have Game Pass, definitely download this. Like it's definitely good enough to earn your hard drive space and play it with some friends and get friends on board. Wasn't really typically terribly sold on like, oh, buy it, because the war games mode is kind of just like that's all you get for a long while. There's no real variation. But Exoprimal, man, I don't like that these reviews are so low for this game. I'm not going to act like this is, Resident Evil 4 remake or Monster Hunter Rise. I'm not going to act like it's that era of Capcom. But when I'm seeing it like 62 on Metacritic, low 70s on Open, it is not remotely that bad. And I don't mean to dig on other people's reviews, but as a reviewer, I get it because it's fucking annoying. But what are these people playing is what I'm not saying. Again, I'm not going to oversell it, but low 60s.
Yeah.
Bruh. All right.
See that.
Let's talk facts, y'all. This is why you come to the Dukes.
Let's go.
So first off, what I love about this game is the suit variety. I love how many different playstyles. Each suit is a playstyle. So Cog talked a bit about the Zephyr, the melee. He talked a bit about the tank. The one that you didn't talk about that I fell in love with, Skydance.
Oh,
Skydance is a lot of fun. It's kind of this DPS, but also support where you're levitating above the battlefield, and every shot you do has an AoE, and it either does damage, not a lot, but it does damage, or it heals. And then you have powers that you can do. Like there's one where you can shoot out this kind of, it almost looks like a claw, and it'll do damage, but it's the mass healing ability. So it's a lot of situational decision making. And when you combine that with the customization options, like what module do I want to put on? Like, do I want to have faster movement speed when my health is low? Do I want to heal more? Do I want a cannon with me? Do I want to shoot off first aid? Do I want to just be a pure healer? Like, what do I want to do? What are my teammates doing? There's a lot of that situational decision making, and like Cog said, switching on the fly that makes it really fun. My biggest gripe, but it doesn't make it, again, this low 60, low 70s type game, is that with Exoprimal, you start up a match of war games, and it's typically like 5 missions, and you have 2 teams on either side that are completing the same missions. They'll be like, begin dinosaur culling, and you'll kill X amount of dinosaurs, however many are vomited into the world.
Yo, tell me it fall out the sky bad funny.
Yeah, no, I love it, bro. They just pour in and come right after you.
It's like pouring dinosaurs.
Yeah, I love it. We'll talk about just the wild nature of this game in a moment too. But you'll do dinosaur culling. You'll protect a capture point. You'll capture something in general. You'll escort cargo. It's like a variety of mission types. And what happens is like the opening ones, I feel like they needed to pour it on a bit hotter with the hordes. Like really challenge us, because when you get deeper in, I love by the end game, y'all, this is where you see Exoprimal at its best. It's PvPvE. Dinosaurs are pouring in. You can play as a dominant. You can turn into like, I was a Triceratops and I was running around, bro. I was beasting the other team. I was destroying their objective. I was running over all the mechs. It was so much fun because now I'm holding them up and we're moving our team along. And then when you both get to that final point, now it's PvP time. Now, like, while the dinosaurs are pouring in, you're fighting each other. It is so much fun. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is ridiculous. But it felt chaotic, but like controlled. I could tell what was going on, and I could work with my teammates, and we could strategize. It was awesome. So I gotta say, man, like, yeah, the beginning of every match is slow, and they could make it more interesting easily. But by the end, you're always, I think there wasn't a single match finale. I was just like, feet up, just, always engaging by that final like 10 minutes. Always. The matches are 15 minutes or so. So you just hop in, wrap it up, you progress in like a survival pass, you progress, and your leveling up has been generous. So it's been really enjoyable in that I don't feel like I got to bend the knee and pay for anything, which is nice because that makes me more likely to pay, quite frankly, which I know is some reverse psychology there, but that's how it works here on Game Pass, I guess, is like, okay, like how much enjoyment can I extract out of you before I feel like I owe you something, right? Like a friend that's done you a couple of favors and you're like, oh, I got to scratch your back now, right? So Exoprimal's been a blast. Now the story is kind of weird where as you complete matches, you'll unlock, they literally says next cutscene unlock on the main menu. I'm like, what the hell is that? So you'll log battles. I think to complete the main story, you have to do like 55 matches and you'll unlock just cutscenes and it's like sends you back to the menu. Like, all right, keep playing. You'll get more after that. It's strange for sure, but
very interesting.
Very live servicey, we'll say.
Yes.
Titanfall was an apt comparison for sure.
Yes. Titanfall 1. Yeah, they tried to do something like this, but not to this extent.
Yeah, it very much like that. I didn't think of that when I was playing it, but very much like that. And then otherwise, they have lost data that you'll find. Like you'll kill certain dinosaurs, they'll drop information. And I define this in my review as like the web of intrigue in prototype. So you'll have like this piece here that defines this part of the world and like this event here that happened, because what's happening in the story, and pardon me if this sounds ridiculous, is you're time traveling back to a point where an outbreak occurred where dinosaurs had invaded a sci-fi world. And so your mechs flying around fighting these dinosaurs. And as Cog said, there's this rogue AI that's kind of collecting combat data from the missions you're running. And I couldn't tell you shit about the story beyond that, but the premise is so wild that it is actually kind of interesting. And so if you really want to take the deeper dive into this mess, there is this web of intrigue like system with lost data called the analysis map that you can go in and see dozens of narrative beats that are more intermittent than your cutscenes every 5 to 10 missions or something like that. So it is a really enjoyable time, man. Like I was surprised with how much fun I was having. And y'all look, like do not look at the reviews and say, nah, I'm good. Get a couple buds together. It's on Game Pass. Game Pass pick of the week. Go download Exoprimal. See how you like it. Truly, because what I can promise you is you may not love it, may not be your favorite game of the year. It's not mine, but it's not like a low 60s. You know what game scored 3 points lower? Redfall. It is not that bad.
This came lower than Redfall?
Yeah.
Oh, they wildin'.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I saw that. I was like,
nah.
I even said it in the Discord. I got a little pushback. People were like, it's just okay. I'm like, no. When this is the problem with number review scores. When you start to sniff around a territory of a game that works and is fun, I know fun's subjective, but works and is fun for many people, and one that doesn't work and is like a betrayal of all its concepts, and they're multiple points apart in the review scale. The scale's broken.
I have to agree with you there. I did not even, when you put it in perspective like that, Exoprimal runs laps around Redfall. So, and Exoprimal is actually fun and looks good and it's functional. Like, they bug. I didn't realize it was that low. That's crazy.
Yeah. I'll double check right now just to give the exact numbers. Go ahead. Sorry.
I know there's a disparity between PlayStation and Xbox, though. That I know.
Yeah.
Because I think the Xbox was in like the 70s, maybe 70 meta, and then what you call it, the 60s.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, so maybe it's the PlayStation, but that's still so weird to me. Like I don't know, man. I get it, Game Pass effect on some level, but it's not that bad a game to me. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, so you're right. The Xbox Series X reviews 74.
Okay, all right.
So that's more accurate. PC it's a 64. Is the port bad?
Maybe the port's bad. Possibly. Maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, but point being is it's a 64 on PC on Metacritic. Redfall is a 56 on Metacritic on Xbox Series X. But PC user score for Exoprimal 4.0.
Oh. So the user score.
Yeah, but the user score on Series X 4.8.
The fans are saying it. And here's the fun thing. It is literally right outside the top 10 of on most played, not just Xbox Game Pass games. All of Xbox. That is a huge deal. So the gamers are speaking with their engagement, and how they feel versus the critics on this one.
Yeah, user scores are low, review scores are low. Again, I'm not going to try to oversell it because it's not an amazing video game, but I'm surprised at the lack of enjoyment. I thought it was a good time. Again, very much a Game Pass game. Wouldn't recommend you go out and buy it, but nonetheless, that's my Game Pass pick of the week. If you try and don't enjoy it, you can blame me. But with that, COG, we have one more question, and it's time for us to wrap up and get out of here. Our final question goes to Four Eyes Malone, who writes in, "What's up, Duke boys? Simple question, I suppose. Do you think with the upcoming influx of Activision Blizzard titles to Game Pass, there needs to be a higher level of curation and user interface management for Xbox consumers? I fear a lot of games will start getting more and more lost in the shuffle. How will they make sure third parties and indie titles aren't pushed down in importance on the digital storefront?" I really want to get into this a bit because I know we talked about PC Game Pass and its UI, which definitely needs work too. But like, I think console Game Pass UI also kind of sucks, and so I'm not a fan of it personally. Like, it's almost that bad thing you're familiar with where it's like, you know where all the, like, your room's a mess, but you know where everything is within the mess. So it works. I think that's what console Game Pass UI is kind of like in my personal opinion. But I'm curious for you, COG, do you think there needs to be a level of curation and management of the UI for Game Pass, at least on consoles, to make sure that titles don't get buried with the massive influx of games coming into the service?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they definitely, the gift of Game Pass is obviously these great games that come to the service. The curse is that, like, you can miss a couple, right, if you're not sure. Now, you made a good point because it's not idea. It's the mess I know, right? So it's like, I know where to go, and I'm like, okay, here's the Game Pass choice. So I'm trying to think, like, how do you solve it? Like, how do you? Because I think gamers sometimes are resistant to, like, the main page being splashed with advertisement on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you have like a whole page dedicated? Hey, this is this week. You make it, you're flashy. You put, Call of Duty here. But I think the key to what Four Eyes Malone is saying, you want to make sure those indies, like that Planet Alana, is like right next to Call of Duty so that it's not lost in the sauce. You want to make sure, because that's the beauty. You want to give that title that normally wouldn't get that visibility on a storefront next to a big title. So it's like, okay, this is what's going on. So maybe I was thinking that maybe like a dedicated page on the dash. Maybe you tab over and, okay, here's Game Pass, but knowing them, they're going to want it on that first page for, so like, so how do you solve it? I'm very curious. Like, what's your suggestion?
I think a couple of things. Number one, I think they desperately need a sort of beyond the Xbox wire, like a mini show this week in Game Pass or something along those lines that sort of brings attention and just lets you watch like a 2 to 3 minute video, like not something that demands a ton of your time and turns into this marketing weapon, just games with gold trailers, but for Game Pass. You know what I'm talking about? Like, here's what's in this week. Check it out kind of thing. I think that's number one. You get to broadcast things. You let people see it, visualize, not just read about it and see screenshots or see the little like pictures that they put in the box art. I think that's a step. I think they have a coming soon category, which is good.
Yeah.
And you can kind of bookmark stuff recently released. I think it's weird that a show all tab, for example, like what's every game on Game Pass is like tucked away and buried. I just think organization is pretty key in this type of service. So I think that's kind of missing too. And I think it's almost too scrolly. I think what happens is you can just keep going in console Game Pass and just scroll down and down and down. Like, what genre? Action RPG, turn-based RPG, tactical RPG. It's like, it's almost, I like the filters, but it's almost so you can just keep going down and down this infinitely long page to the bottom. And I feel like if you tighten that up a bit, it'll sort of force you to think about how you can present that information better. Like maybe just a genre button that when you open, it's all there instead of scrolling down and seeing every genre under the sun listed. Right. That's how I would, at least from off the top of the dome, start to look at it a bit.
Yeah, for me right now, my go-to is I hit the Xbox Live button and then I go straight to the bottom. It's usually, you see the Microsoft Store icon and I see the Game Pass icon. I go right there. But again, it's the mess I know, right? So it's, I'm curious for the new user that's not going to be intuitive to that. You're going to me, it still denotes maybe that first page, and you got to figure out a way so that it's not super intrusive, but it leads them to where they got to go for what's dropped on Game Pass, that week kind of thing. So, yeah. That's what I got for now.
We'll see if any changes are made. Certainly, they're making a lot surrounding Starfield. But nonetheless, Four Eyes Malone, thank you for writing in. Thank you, everyone else who wrote into our show for chiming in. We appreciate you all. And COD, great episode. It was a fun one, sir.
Yeah.
Any thoughts as we wrap up and pick our hashtag?
Fun one. Getting close to the end of the saga that is AVK. We're finally getting there. And no, good show. A lot of fun. Love the questions. It was a good one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually, we had it all over the place. So I'm like, I don't know what hashtag. What you was thinking?
Let me go through the news here. We got, okay, I might have a good one. It actually might, if I go with this title for the episode, it may synchronize. DD knees.
The knee was bent. I see where you're going. Yeah. We gotta, because there's a lot of talk about we cannot exist. This is we signed the deal. We like what?
There you go.
It's knees.
All right, so there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The knee was bent. Let's do that for the hashtag DD knees. You can tag me at G27Status on Twitter. Cog is at Lord Cognito. We look forward to hearing your thoughts on the episode. If you don't use social media, feel free to write it in the comments down below. Use the hashtag DD knees. We appreciate you all for your feedback. Again, a reminder, if you want to write in a little mobile review, whether it be a rating, just 5 stars, we appreciate that, or just write in some of your thoughts on our show. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. You're definitely helping us rise up the rankings. We could not do this without you. So thank you so much. And with that, Cog, it's time for us to sign out, and we will be back next week for episode 134 of Defining Duke and Xbox Podcast. But until then, take okay care of yourselves. We'll see you next time. Peace out.
Defining Duke, an Xbox Podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman, and the show is edited by associate producer Ben Smith. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.